Ladies and gentlemen, welcome in. I hope you're all having a grand old evening wherever you are in the world, maybe afternoon, morning, or time of day. Regardless, I hope you're having a great time. My name is Cracked Wisdom, and tonight, for the sixth episode of the Welcome to Arena podcast, I am joined by two legends from the American scene, two guys who have been kind enough to bring me into their environment as a coach to help them out with their success in the NA scene, and also a couple of just downright awesome gamers. Okay, not only that, but some of the more seasoned veterans. We're going to start off with the wisest chip on the block as somebody who has taught me many a thing when it comes to gaming with the Giga Brain, all right? And that is Spritian himself. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome in. Spritian EpicFailZ captain and founder.
Thank you, Cracked. Pleasure to be here. For those who have known me, I've been playing games for a very long time. I'm not going to give a number because then it's going to date me, and you can probably already tell by the gray in my beard. I'm probably one of the oldest members of this community, but that's okay. I'll accept it. I'll accept it. We're definitely Team Unk over here, but that's how we roll. Yeah, I guess a little bit about me. I've been playing FPSs for a very long time. I will give you the number. It's about 30 years. Started with Duke Nukem. Was really good at that. Was actually number one in the world for that when I was 14 years old. And then played a lot of competitive FPS gaming from Counter-Strike Source, Battlefield 1942, COD 4. Had a bit of a lull and stopped playing and then kind of moved forward, found Tarkov, fell in love, and I've been stuck with this damn game ever since, so it's a curse.
Curse and a blessing. I mean, we both love it and hate it in equal measures, right? It's something that we endure on a daily basis. Ladies and gentlemen, the first of you two speaking tonight is, like I said, Spritian, part of the EpicFailZ Esports squad that has come together relatively recently. Now, joining him tonight, another one of the members that is an exceptional player, not just when it comes to the gun skill, but somebody who's just built a little different inside the noggin, all right? You'd be rare to find in the NA scene a lurker that does not get frustrated by the decoys left around by Mr. Decoy himself. So, without any more decoys, pun intended, let's bring in the real man, the myth, the legend, the OG himself. It's Mr. Decoy. How are we doing, sir?
Doing well. Thanks for having me. Thanks for bringing us on board. I appreciate it. Um, so background, I guess, I started playing on PC when I was like 10. I'm 33 now, so um, 23 years in there somewhere. Played all sorts of different things. FPSs, Counter-Strike, 1.5, 1.6. Call of Duty, Modern Warfare's. Did some, more stuff on other gaming platforms as well. Blizzard, Counter Strike, Brood Wars. Was a WoW player for a long time, so I've been around. Yeah, yeah. Don't give me that face, cracked.
I'm saying
All right.
nothing. I'm saying absolutely nothing. I did want
Um,
to quickly show a little something, I think, from the guys. So, you've been playing, you said, obviously, age, what, about 10 to 33?
10 to 33. Yeah, I mean, I started playing on a PC when I was 10.
My word. Can you remember what graphics were like back in the day when you first started
Um,
gaming? What does it even compare? Like remember the 16-bit or 32-bit polys that you would clutter the page with square angles and stuff compare. Yeah, you can see the pain
um,
cutting into him
It,
again
it, it
now.
was
well,
terrible. It was
let
terrible.
me let me let me put it this way. One of the first games I ever opened was EverQuest, and if anybody remembers EverQuest, there was a lot of text-based commands. So,
S- So
anyways,
speaking of graphics and bits and bobs, we're gonna have a little look at something. So I had a clip passed on to me, folks, from back in the day. Okay, and you want to see back in the day? Well, take a look at back in the day when it comes to what graphics used to be. So this is a Sprit in his prime. And Sprit, why don't you talk to the folks at home about what's going on screen here for people who don't know?
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely love Duke Nukem 3D. This was probably my first competitive game. Uh, it wasn't full 3D. It was actually like 2.5D. So like when you'd go like Y-axis, it was like very stretched because it wasn't true 3D. And the goal, the way we used to play this was it was always 1v1. You'd pick a map, and then whoever gets first to 10 wins. And as you can see right now, I'm getting my ass whooped 0 to 7. But don't worry, I actually end up winning this because this game is all about audio cues, right? So if you want to talk about Tarkov and audio cues, this is where I learned it from. And you'll see this a little bit later. If you want to jump ahead to like 650-ish, this is where it starts to get really good. But it's really, really, it was a great game, super fun, like super fast paced, This was the only game that would actually make me sweat. I've played a lot of games competitively. This is so fast paced. It was ridiculous. I mean, you're talking 500 frames,
Yeah.
but you know the graphics weren't great, right?
And I can see the scoreline at the moment was it's six to it was 6-5 before you start going on a little bit of a killing spree there, and 3 quick successive kills gets you to 6-8, 6-9 now. And like you say, there's the action really starts popping off towards the end. But is this so? How old are you here then? How old is this? Is this 14-year-old Sprit? Is this 16-year-old
No,
Sprit?
no, this is actually like 20-year-old Sprit.
Okay.
It was funny because like everyone knew me back in the day in this community, and for at least another 10 years, everybody would reach me out of the woodwork and be like, "Hey, I heard you were really good. I want to play you." Or it was like old people I used to play with. They're like, "Hey, let's play some Duke." I'm like, "All right."
Mm-hmm.
And we would always record the demos, but we never did anything with them. And it was funny because there was a couple of guys that just started harvesting Duke demos. Like this isn't even my video on YouTube. It
Yep.
was just some guy who like found all these demos of all these old school hardcore players and then just started uploading them to YouTube. And this one was posted like 12 years ago, which is just hilarious.
There you go. Insane. A little bit of a taste of what the previous gaming experience looks like from some of the guys that play in the NA scene. And speaking of maybe some of the guys that play in the NA scene, or maybe some of the guys in the chat that aren't familiar with EpicFailZ Esports, let's talk about that real quickly because you guys are pretty new. Came together a group of gamers that were split from multiple different teams that had ideas, or groups of teams that hadn't formed a competitive team yet but played together as a community for a vast amount of time and had a lot of very good players with potential. So yeah, I think Sprit, talk to us about the origins of EpicFailZ, where you guys have come from, and what the aim is with what's going on from the brand.
Yeah, absolutely. So Epic Fails was actually the name of my old Arma 3 clan. And we kind of all congregated to play Tarkov and move there, right? And so we just kept the Discord alive because it was a lot of my friends at the time. A lot of them stopped playing, and I was playing. When Arena came out, I decided, oh, I love Arena because it's fast paced. I get the gameplay. You know, I can do what I want, and I don't have to worry about rats in corners taking all my gear 20 minutes into a raid, right? So started playing, started the community, started talking to a bunch of people. I actually started by helping Slaughter co-found New Dawn, so we played in HPL together. We ended up parting ways, and then at that point, I was debating what my next move was. Right, so I was either going to join a team, or I was just going to create a team. Decoy reached out to me. We were always friends, super tight. Scooby also reached out to me, and I figured with those three, hey, let's give this a go and let's create a new team. And we've been an org now for about 2 months, so not very long, but we have pretty large impact. I mean, we've got a Div 1 team, we've got a Div 2 team, we've got full rosters, we got people inquiring all the time, and we have been working extremely hard on trying to be as competitive as we could be. So.
Yeah, and I think part of the reason the environment's been so good and why it's been so well received within its 2 months worth of longevity so far is down to the people that started off, with a similar mindset, like you said. Everybody's on the same level, everybody's above board and down for criticism, down for improvement, looking to try and find the best version of themselves in the game. And I've got to give part props to that to our other bench member for the night. Decoy, in his calm, cool, and collected composure, is definitely one of the strengths that the EpicFailZ boys, I guess, definitely take some strength from. Right? I mean, we had. I hope the guys don't mind me talking about it. We did a scrim last night, didn't we, lads? And there
Yeah.
was a little bit of friction, going on. Hold up a minute. Speaking of friction, all right, lads, we got to. Okay, somebody in the chat has been talking on the socials about my bald head. All right. And somebody has a little bit of a grumble every time we come in and tease him about being Mr. Famous. So I think it's time that the hair DLC and Mr. Famous go face to face for a 1v1. We have teased it on the socials, chat. It is going to happen, all right? A bald only, TRG only, 1v1 between myself and Mr. No Technique TV for the sledging. Just for bragging rights. There's nothing else on the table. We don't dislike each other either. There's no beef. It's just, I can't let this man call me bald like that and then say he's wearing it better than me. I mean, the only one person that wears bald is cracked. Right, let's be real. I mean, maybe Walker will defer to once in a while, but come on, man.
You know what? I would pay to see that as long as I get to announce that one. That would be a lot of fun.
Oh, wait a minute, Mr. Sprit
Announcer Sprit?
announcing. I'm down. I'm so down. We're gonna have to make this work. Okay. Opposite of beef, actually, massive aura. Yeah, it's an aura off. Yeah, you've got it right, Tech. That's it. It's literally an aura off. With
Okay.
which you're
I
going
just have
down.
to state.
Yeah.
I just have to state. You have to put Austin as his co-caster because if Sprit fumbles and has a Sprit moment, he can cover him.
Oh,
Oh.
I don't know about that. I do a pretty good Austin impression.
I'm
Oh
not
my
saying that you don't.
God!
Let
Fair
me know
enough,
a time and a place. All right, okay. I don't have a glove. I don't have a glove to. The gauntlet is thrown. It's down on the floor. It's done, Tech. All right, I'll get in your DMs. You set me a time or place, and then come cash me outside. All right, I'll meet you in the backyard. We'll go playground antics. Why not? Screw it. Done. We'll have to bring it onto a podcast maybe. Maybe we bring No Technique back for a podcast in the future, and we do it on the podcast with him.
I think you got to do like a pre-roll before the tournament, little 1v1, and then you
Oh,
got to do it
maybe.
after, right? Yeah, I think
Oh,
that's how you roll that.
maybe. I like it. I like it. I like it. Lots of new things coming out, and appreciate the guys dropping by for the support. Hello, everybody. Welcome in this evening. If you've just joined us, this is episode 6. This is the EpicFailZ Esports NA team and org that has just recently generated itself, shall we say, from amongst some amazingly talented gamers with similar mindsets. 2 months old, already a Div 1 team, a Div 2 team that's cooking in the works. And I hope the guys don't mind me sort of jumping the gun and announcing this one, but I have to say a massive thank you as well. The EpicFailZ boys have also stepped up for this month's with the podcasts and offered to sponsor helping what we're doing here too. So a massive shout out and a thank you to the EpicFailZ Esports for stepping up. It's something I can never ever thank people enough for that kind of support. And to see the Pandas coming in, and now Easy Esports also jumping on the bandwagon and helping where they can. It's a massive W. So I am especially grateful for it, and a thank you to yourselves, Sprit and Decoy, and the gang for lending a hand.
Absolutely, it's our pleasure. I mean, anything to grow this community. You've been a great pillar in really growing the function, getting the players out there, helping us grow the NA scene, and so we're happy to help.
Trying to do what we can to help
Absolutely.
bring the entertainment to the people. Go on, Decoy.
Well, no, I absolutely agree. I mean, honestly, like Cracked, you do so much for this community already, and we appreciate it. And I mean, honestly, I want to support you in any way that we can. And honestly, we just need to support this community in general, right? Like we are a small niche community. We need to do everything we can to continue growing as much as we can if we want this game to survive. So,
And the one thing it's not is easy. And I think we've crossed this
True.
topic too many times, haven't we? Decoy, do you want to enlighten the world about the curse of the EpicFailZ Div 1 team? The one thing that is almost banned inside of comms now.
you mean when Sprit opens his mouth and makes a pun?
Yep. I don't know how many rounds, and we can talk about in coaching, in even competitive in the tournament in the LCQ, where 3 or 4 rounds in, it's going all right. I've got the adjustment. Yeah, guys, it's easy. And then all of a sudden, oh no.
Okay, it's a little bit of a
Yeah.
curse. It's a little bit of a curse. I need to not say it. It is subconscious, but sometimes it does
Sprit,
slip.
yeah. Sprit just wants to break the curse. That's the main thing. Okay.
Yeah,
Like he's continuing it so that eventually we'll break it. That's why.
We have a good
We'll do
laugh
it at some
about the
point.
guys in the team,
Gotta
don't
make it
we? I
easy.
mean, that's oh my no. No.
There it came out.
It's just so
It's on
natural. I'm
brand.
sorry.
It's
I
on
can't help it.
brand. Oh dear. Right. Well, speaking of the classics, all right, let's talk about the other 3 classics that make the starting roster, and then the other 2 members of that starting Div 1 roster, because the talent isn't just in the amazing banter we get from the 2 kings of the court, but the bishops, the pawns, the rooks, and the knights that you guys bring with you as well. I mean, they're all demons and phenomenal players. So whichever one of you wants to take the lead on this one, but sort of introduce the rest of the world to the team. What does EpicFailZ Div 1 look like? What does Div 2 look like?
Yeah.
Director, that's all you.
Okay. I was gonna say you can start this one, but happy to start. Obviously, I am the IGL currently. Got Decoy, who plays. He's a little bit of mold, so he can play anything, which is great, and I love that about Decoy. He's probably our most reserved player, but he knows exactly when to turn it on, so I rely on him a lot for that, right? We got the famous Scooby, who's our TRG marksman player who comes out slaying when he can. We also got Buperino as our latest addition, who is just I think as long as you know how to play that guy, he is one of the best wild cards in the scene, in my opinion.
Well,
So,
let's talk
yeah.
about that real quickly because we've got a couple of clips that we've had saved up for the people at home, and one of the clips that we're going to have a look at is something that was clipped by Boop, and then it's a clip of Boop, and we love Boop for multiple reasons, okay? Not only is he a talented gamer and an exceptional human to be around for his comedy and his humor, but he done fucked up Aaron, and just like everybody else, he does it in the most comical of fashion, okay? And sometimes it goes good, sometimes it goes bad. You know, sometimes maybe good, sometimes maybe shit, okay? And we're gonna have a little look at that now. So, let you guys at home feast your eyes on a little bit of magic. Uh-oh.
Such a cheeky spot.
Okay.
Let's
Oh
go,
dear,
Boop.
oh dear. So, the one thing I want to point out is you can see how much Boop's cooked to try and get that kill, okay? But admittedly, although it almost gets him pinned, so tunnel focused into making that cool shot through the gap happen, it somehow turns into two of the nicest, cleanest transfer headshots I've seen in a little while. So you got to give him his credit for that one. And then there's this as well, which is titled "Sorry Spirit."
Yeah. I told him we got to put this one in here because this one infuriated me when we were playing HPL. So, so gross. So gross.
Oh, brother. How do you recover from something like that, Sprit?
Yeah. We had to recover. It was a hard fought battle, but yeah, that one sucked. Not gonna lie. So,
Speaking of nasty and things that you can not really recover too much from, let's actually have a look. Let's turn the tables the other way. Let's have a look at something a little bit more Sprit favored, shall we? Okay, Sprit, let's talk about it. Let's talk about it. Let's talk
oh
about
yeah.
it. Okay, my guy. You can't be doing people like that. Let's talk about the reload first of all.
Okay, in my defense, I was not expecting them to rush curtain like that immediately after I dropped that guy Jen, and I wasted a lot of bullets pre-firing. I didn't really have a choice but to reload, and so that jump getaway was, I don't even know why I thought of it. I was like, well, fuck, maybe I jump and I can get out of here, and it actually worked. So thankfully, I pulled it off.
Hey, that's what we bank on, right? These things do end up working. So let's have a look at another one. We've got some more glorious clips for you guys at home as well to show from the EpicFailZ squad. They've done a good job of prepping for today, actually. I have to give them the props. Oh, I remember this. Oh, F's in the chat for Kevin, by the way. Oh,
I didn't overuse bullets that time though.
Yeah, no, that was probably one of the cleanest kills with the spear that I've seen you have,
it's
and you've had a lot of them.
yeah, and I'm glad you said that because you are very good. That is definitely one of the Sprit things. That little gentle peek and I'm having him with a couple of bullets is something when you're very locked in, especially from the coaching perspective, you can see it in your gameplay. That tells me your mind is on the game because you're like, I'm not giving him an inch, let alone a mile. Like he's not getting just that, even the ego out of me. I'm just killing him, simple as. And I mean, yeah, night. What what more would you like to
Yeah,
say?
well, yeah, I mean, on that one, right? I mean, prior to that, it was hard because I was trying to hold the bomb, right? But I was also trying to play my life because it was a 1v1 situation. So, playing tactically and just trying to get the peaks, but not executing them on the B site, right? Allowed him to get the bomb and run it back to A. But I knew I had plenty of time on the clock to really kind of make it matter. So I knew I could be a little bit more strategic, get a little fake walk, and then really when my opponent wasn't thinking about it, really just do that quick peek swing and get a couple rounds out if he was there. Luckily for me, he was definitely there. I was able to win that round. So
For sure. Big W. Drink up, Pumpkin Man. All right, sorry, my bad. I have to hydrate some more because the boys in chat are hitting me.
It's okay. We'll join you.
Cheers. See, this is why it's a chill chat with cracked folks, all right? Professionality is in the eye of the beholder, all right? We can be professional and still be hydrated at the same time. Your health is important, okay? So you're going to make sure you keep on top of that. I've got to say
Totally
the
agree.
talent and some of the clips that you guys have generated, I mean, they definitely aren't few, nor far between. The one thing we have to sort of agree on so far is we've not managed to put a map on the board. What's the thoughts behind that? And what do you think the thoughts are going forward from this weekend with the Vanguard Proving Grounds obviously on the horizon? What's the attack strategy?
Well, I'm gonna let Decoy answer that one. I'm gonna let him pick the map this week.
Oh, what? You already gave me that responsibility last week. It didn't turn out very well. All right. You were on a business trip, and I kind of had to take over for map bans and picks and sides. And, well, you're the IGL for a reason.
I don't know. Yeah, that's fair. Well, we could talk about it, but give me your opinion first, Decoy.
Oh, gosh. All right. Well, you know, speaking of this, honestly, I would say we should pick your favorite map.
No, we're not picking Skybridge. That we're definitely not doing that.
Oh
No,
man.
I honestly think like our performance on bowl, like we this last go around was like we just had a slow start, right?
Okay.
We were a little cold. The first half didn't really go very well. We gave up a bit too much on the defense, and that kind of led to a very difficult attacking half that I think we did very well on in all respects, right? Um, Honestly, Bull, Bay 5, and Fort aren't bad picks for us. Skybridge really isn't a bad pick for us either, in all honesty, as much as Sprit doesn't like it. And I think if I had to pick a map, I actually want to do Fort. I think we
Ooh,
underrate
okay.
ourselves on
Really?
Fort.
Do
Okay.
you know what's interesting? That's an interesting perspective, and I actually think you underrate yourselves on Fort, but I think you underrate yourselves on Fort now that the conversation happened with Scoob about TRG and then that current state of things. I think the adaptation that Scooby has within his play style as a player in general, the ability not just to, because this is something I want to express to the world. Like Scooby is formerly firstly known for being an exceptional marksman player, a DMR user, the TX15, an SR25, the TRG. But what people tend to assume is that that's just what people are good at. And it actually falls in play with what is becoming almost an EpicFailZ team trend, where we have a similar player in the Div 2 team in Austin, who also is very, very similar in both approach and ability, not just to pull off TRG, but like also pull out most assault weapons and be pretty good with it, and the Scout too, right?
Yep, it's very true. Scooby on Scout, if I remember correctly, Scooby played Scout a lot, or like during his couple HPL games, right? And he freaking rocked it with that MCX back then. Scooby's been cooking on Assault a bit. I know he doesn't want to, but I kind of want to see Scooby use a shotgun. He hates them.
Oh,
Yeah, I actually want to see that too. But no, I mean Scooby with the spear scoped is actually really deadly, right? And I think that's one thing that we have going for the majority of our Div 1 team is we're all pretty versatile, with the exception of me. I just refuse to play anything but Assault. But for everyone else, I mean, very, very flexible. So
I think you've got a fan in Hellcat though, Spritty, and I'm going to be honest with you, as somebody who also, I mean, it's a little bit more flexibility. It's even quoted in a voice clip for Discord, just for good old soundboard effects. It's extremely flexible, our Hellcat from the Outcast squad. But she is very much a spear fan. Likes to stay on that spear. We did manage to get her to deviate a little bit when the Ash 12 leg meta was in there. And because, I mean, let's be honest with you, I don't think there's any gamer that can't click twice on somebody's legs, regardless of what you're naturally talented at. That class is obnoxious, to say the least.
yeah, let's talk about that real quick. That patch that came out. Oh my god. That totally just destroyed the game in my opinion for good, what was it, like a week? That
Mm-hmm.
was ridiculous that it was PKPs and Ash 12s just running around nonstop. That was crazy. You could only get what,
Let's
2 mags on the spear,
Before we get
right?
too
Like
deep into that, let's just clarify for the
okay.
guys at home which are the two patches, because I do want to talk about that, but let's just make it very clear for the guys at home which patch is referring to. So the most recent patch actually tuned this back because of how drastically crazy it was for like a 2 week period. But the initial patch hit, LPSGZH was still in the Enforcer class. The Masker and all of the armor components around it, surrounding the tier 6s, the Vulcan, were all at half, essentially, for a roundabout figure, at half the price of what they are meta score now, as well as better ammo being available across the board. That was the patch that came in that Spirit is referring to that was wild, and then the adjustment that came straight after it was this mini patch where they took out LPS GZH, they removed APSX, they removed AP 300 Blackout, and did a few tweaks on the costings for a lot of things, and then they expanded Assault by 500 points and gave it more firepower score, right, Spirit? And that's the bit you're referring to, is not the adjustment patch, which was very good, but the patch before
I
it,
agree.
where Chaos was let loose, right?
Yeah, 100%, right? I mean, it pretty much invalidated like every class that I was running on Assault. There was nothing viable during that 2 week interim period, right? Like you lost the 45 rounders on the AK, right? You could only really run like 2 mags of M4 Spear. It was tough. It was really tough, right? Then you kind of we were having to change like your armor kits to like be more scoutish, which is the whole reason you run Assault is you take a few more hits, right? Like and that's like because I like that aggressive play style, right? But yeah, it much better now. I think there's a lot more viability back in pretty much all the classes, which is great. I will say I was using AK for a while. I actually enjoyed it, but something out of this most recent patch, like Rate of Fire, seems to be favored to something that is higher. Which is why I've kind of moved back to the spear. I've even contemplated like M4HK, and I think I got to put the AK to bed for a little bit. So,
Ooh, interesting. Now, the AK-12, Mr. Consistent? No way. Surely there's not a meta where the AK-12 doesn't perform. I mean, I think No Technique's reading our minds again, guys. There's a hashtag shotguns in there. Well, that was what I was going to ask you, is because that chaos then settled into this meta right now, and I'm asking you, Sprit, is it okay? Are you sure it's okay?
it's not okay, but it's better. It's better. I mean, I'm not a huge fan of shotguns, period, right?
Ladies and gentlemen, allow
Uh,
me to... yeah, let me...
Only if Decoy's using it, then I'm okay.
I mean, okay, like, so the thing with the leg meta, or I mean, let's not call it leg meta. We'll call it flesh damage, right? Meta at the
Yes.
moment is there are a lot of quick TTK guns at the moment that don't require you to have very good aim, right? Ash 12 on Enforcer, shotgun on Enforcer. They're not exactly the same, but like, you point general direction of legs, right? You kind of get 3 shots off and that people tend to fall over.
Okay.
Is that good for a competitive environment?
Well,
I
you
mean,
ask a good question here. I like this. And do you know why I think you ask a good question here? Because I think flavor is key to the answer. If you're looking for something different, where Counter-Strike doesn't do it, and these other Call of Duty, so on, we can name tons of titles, they don't hit this, like, meta stereotype. They want to go a different way with it. I like the idea of shotguns. I like the idea of the enforcer, the I'm getting onto site. Like, I fit a role. I don't mind that. Maybe there's some balancing to be spoken about. Fair enough, an enforcer probably shouldn't have the fastest TTK in the weaponry. I agree with that to some extent. But there is also a way to play around it. And this is something that I've found to be very, very common about smart players, is if you know you're playing against a couple of leg meta kits, you play headshot angles. Simple as that. If you know you're going into PKPs and enforcers that are going to run you down and they're going to pre-fire or tap fire an angle, you don't play in a corner, so you don't get trapped into a corner for them to pincer you down. You double swing him, you big swing him, you get a teammate to buddy up with you, or you nade him. You just don't challenge him at all. Don't give him the fight for free, and you blow him up. So I I don't know about the lack of skill. Maybe I'm biased because I'm currently enjoying the shotgun. I said this about the TRG. I sat on the bench on that one too. It's a one-tap crutch. It doesn't need headshots. Yada yada yada. You try telling that to Scoob, whose headshot percentage is just as good on the TRG as it is on an assault weapon.
Yeah, I mean, I don't think I have a problem with variety, right? Like the leg meta is fine.
Yep.
It's just the shotguns are just less skill, overpowered, right? You take a shit ton of hits, and there's not much you can do unless you've already got the pre-peak on them, or you're absolutely pelting that Vulcan through the face mask with some high caliber like bullets, right? Like that's it. And so it makes it a little bit more random, which is, I think everyone who plays this in the competitive scene likes it for the skill, right? You're outsmarting
Yeah.
people, you're trying to get better angles, better corners, you're baiting them with audio, right? And then you just have some shotgun that's prone on the floor, peeking a smoke, or running straight at you and just choo 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 choo, and you die, right? Like that's
Fair enough.
frustrating. It is
Yeah.
frustrating. That's my opinion, at least. So.
I hear what you're saying. All right, and let's spice things up a little bit. So before we look at the next clip, I need you to introduce the Div 2 roster to the guys at home. So for everybody that's just joining us, this is episode 6. This is the EpicFailZ Esports org. You've got Captain Spritian, which is actually on this side, whichever side this is for you, depending on whether you've got it inverted or not. I don't know why you've been watching inverted, but who knows? Crazy things. And this is Mr. Decoy. All right, this is the co-founder and the glue of the team. All right, this is the backbone of the squad. It's where it started, the head and shoulders of the brainwork, and then the backbone of the book as the history is written into it. Okay, they've joined me for some conversations regarding the Div 1 and Div 2 team. We've had a little look at some clips from the Div 1 team. We're now going to have a look at some clips from the Div 2 team, but before we do, let's introduce the roster.
Yeah, absolutely. I'm going to say one thing, though, because you did say the magic word, which was inverted.
Yes,
So fun fact, I actually play inverted on my y-axis because I'm old school, and a lot of people think I'm nuts. So I had to get that out there because it's pretty
Wait, hold up a
funny.
minute.
You
No,
are
no, no. Let me
nuts.
understand this. So you play like that's up and that's down. Your mouse on your mouse, like your
Yes,
So
and
that's down, that's up. Yeah. So it's
correct.
like a flight stick.
Correct. Okay. So you have to remember when Sprit was a wee lad, right? All games were inverted.
All
Oh,
games
hey,
were
hey, hey.
inverted. Like,
You don't
listen,
need to tell me. You don't need to tell me who played the first Spyro running around on icy scenery going like this because I couldn't figure out up and down as a 12-year-old. Trust me. Trust me. I'm aware it was locked inverted. There's a reason nobody likes that. There's a reason games went away from it, Sprit.
no. Somebody in the industry decided to default it the normal way, which is not normal because inverted is better, in my opinion. So.
He's cooked. He's cooked.
You're never gonna win this argument with a
Hey,
crowd.
you see
Sprit.
I
my
love it.
clips. I
I
can
think it's
still hit
great.
shit. It's
I
fine.
think no, that's
Yeah,
true.
no,
I
no,
think
no.
it's
I
great.
think you're great.
I rate it. I never don't ever. Do you know what's crazy? There's a friend of mine who sits uh opposite us that does some of the background work on the Discord and whatnot. You'll see him sometimes. King of the North, my good friend that comes around IRL an often amount. He's sat less than 5 or 6 paces away from me right now. You're an inverted gamer, aren't you? Yeah, he's a mega inverted gamer. He's the kind of guy when we play pass and play on a console, I have to go into the settings and flip his settings because he's still got it in inverted axis even to this day and age. So you're not an only man of a breed of dying skill. I think it's actually maybe an old wise mentality that people have lost but not forgotten.
Yeah. Anyways, I just had to mention that because every time I tell somebody that, they're like, "There's no shot. No way. You're
Are
crazy."
you a pilot? Were
No,
you a
but
pilot?
I'm an OG FPS gamer, and that's kind of where it came from. So.
Okay, so that was one of the comments that got mentioned to me during the week was actually that it's a pilot thing. All right, something that very commonly is people that pilot a plane that learn to fly a plane, the joystick is inverted and therefore similar thing with hand-eye coordination for a mouse. Makes sense. So yeah, but yeah, talk to us about this. Talk to us about this Div 2 team. Introduce the roster for me because I want to ask you if the next clip we're going to watch is skilled after that shotgun conversation.
Oh my
All
gosh.
right. If it's the one I think you're talking about, it's definitely because it was a tactical throw. But anyways,
Okay, okay.
so we got Sub Certified. He is our IGL for Div 2. Followed by Venom. We have Bunny X Paco. We have Discount Austin Powers, and we have Clues. We have a couple of subs as well. Sin. Who else am I missing?
You're
Am I
missing
missing anything?
Goth.
And Goth, yes, and Goth. I love Goth. He just needs a different job so he can actually play in this stuff, because he is also a phenomenal player. And then I don't think I finished rounding out Div 1 either, so I'm going to give a shout out to Angle Andy because he's
Yes.
absolutely a beast, and he's my partner in crime, my battle buddy. And then we also have CCGN, Roscoe, Kill Cappers helping us out too. Am I missing anybody else there, Decoy? I don't want to leave anybody out.
I
No,
think that's
you're
it.
good on
I
that
think
one.
you're spot on.
Okay.
Yep.
Good.
Good squad, honestly. We will talk about Andy, Roscoe, and CC in a little bit. Don't worry, I have not forgotten the legend that is Angle Andy. There's a couple of things I wanted to say, actually. Been very impressed recently, and I wanted to talk to the two of you about it. I thought this is a good place to actually talk about it as well. Because Andy's probably the newest member for the squad, bar Boop himself. The two of them come in very similar sort of time. And sometimes it can be quite hard to adjust to that team environment. So I wanted to kind of talk to you about that to that extent, sort of ask how you guys feel that the two new members have adjusted, how they fit the mold and stuff like that. But we'll talk about that in a second. Let's have a little bit of a laugh on the clip for you at home, folks. So we were talking about the shotguns and the meta changes recently, and whether people think it's skilled or unskilled to be able to blast somebody's legs, to bully out 3 times and not really care too much where you're aiming, and still knock your man down. Well, how about this? Skilled or unskilled?
Nico, you can go first.
All right. So okay. Let's be honest here, right? Like spawn nades have a place in the game, right? And you also need to respect the fact that spawn nades can be thrown. So it goes both ways, right? If you watch like good teams most of the time, and I'm not saying Vibe Check's not a good team, right? Every team will occasionally just disregard the spawn nade and they'll just push through, right?
Yep.
It's a timing thing. But most good teams, you'll see them kind of wait around, especially on bowl, around that split nade, that headshot nade, right? Because they know it can be thrown, they have to respect it, and then once a little delay is done, they'll push into their positions, right? But every once in a while, if you catch the timing, it's perfect.
It's something we spoke about as a win more, didn't we, Spirit? We had a conversation about like the actual understanding as to like because we call it a different nade, even though it's the same grenade thrown from the same place. We actually call it a different grenade for what its purpose is for. When we leave spawn and you throw it just off the cuff, it's called the disrespect nade because it's a tempo nade. You spawn to spawn throwing it, and you're not throwing it for anything other than are they going to disrespect me? Do I disrespect the fact that these guys won't respect my nade? And it's a disrespect nade. Whereas when you get into gameplay in the competitive scene, you get 3 or 4 rounds down the line where you put lots of rounds together consecutively. The opposing team is normally then reaching. They're trying to create something, a situation, to get themselves back in the game. And sometimes that forces those unforced errors, like you said, the lack of discipline, like bombing out of spawn, not checking that disrespect. And then it becomes a different nade from it being a disrespect nade. And like we say, it's a pressure nade. If they're going to try and break out, an aggressive push would be one of the potential ways they could upset the flow of tempo. So, to make sure that's not given to them for free, we'll throw the nade. And it stops being a disrespect nade and it has a reason behind it. So, skill or pressure. And I'll give context to the guys at home. This is after the round that Austin has had the entirety of the B side of the map for free and is essentially living rent free on the flank, and he picks up a 4-piece as well. So, context adds to the
Yeah,
equation. Go
so
for it.
in my opinion, I do think it is skill, right? And I think it's skill because it's skill from a strategy perspective, right? Attackers have almost double the util as defenders, right? But it's so much harder to take a position than defend a position usually, right? And so if you're going to go burn that nade off the rip, right, and get nobody, you've kind of mucked your chances on taking that A position more effectively, right? Like it's usually better held for close A side, jump up, right, Jenny, in that context, right? Where that way you can open opportunities. You got 2 minutes to make it happen, right? And so in this scenario, like yeah, at the end of the day, that's part of the game. You do have to respect it, right? And if you don't, that's kind of what happens sometimes. And from a strategic play, right? If you have that inkling, and I've done this many times, I don't throw it off the rip. If I feel like they're trying to close it out and rush like curtain, you better believe I'm throwing that nade, right? It's a defensive position even as an attacker. So
Smart mentality, honestly. I rate that one. I get told off for throwing it so much sometimes. I get told off as I'm like, but they've played aggressive 3 rounds in a row. of course I'm going to throw the nade. It's like, no, you save it for, we're planning to do this. I'm like, but I have pressure, please. I want to throw my nade. There's a good reason for throwing my nade right now. It's always a good argument, but let's have a look at some more clips from the Div 2 squad, because I think we've got about 6 of them, okay, to sort of roll through, of different members from the team. I think this is another one from Austin himself. And sort of between yourselves, Decoy, first of all, I guess, and then Sprit for the next clip. Decoy, talk us through what's going on here and why you feel that our Div 2 team that we've got going on has got such a strong potential to make it for the comp scene.
Well, I mean, in all honesty, like our Div 2 team has just been putting in a lot of time, right? Like Div 2s should, like, some people call them feeder teams, right? Some people equate them to like collegiate teams. But like the main goal of the Div 2, in my opinion, is to foster growth in the game, right? There are players who just haven't had as much experience. They haven't had maybe like prior experience in competitive play, and they want to learn the game at a higher level, right? And those players, a Div 2 team is perfect for them, right? They get to come in, they get to get game time, they get to learn strategies, they can take their own time and figure out how they're going to do it. And the fact that we're getting more Div 2 tournaments, right? Like the Arena Semi Pro League, like this Vanguard tournament where they allowed a couple Div 2 teams in, right? Is great for them because that's going to give them more experience, right?
Yeah. Absolutely.
This was just Austin showing some good intuition right there.
Well, that was what I was going to say to you. We're going to replay that one actually and just have a look at the positioning on this one. So this is something we were laughing about actually after the day, because he wiggles this here. Okay. Right, you can hear me in the background say, "Excuse me," because Austin's audio work is exceptional to a level here, and this is it. He's thoroughly aware of people are. Turns, swings, checks left, makes sure the shoulder swap is in place. And, I mean, Dom cuts the angle twice over there, but he still picks up the kill. And, these kills are, time and time again, ridiculously strong. This is one of the other members of the squad. This is something from Bunny here. Sprit.
Yeah, let's see which one this is. It may be... Oh, yeah, it's a good jump shot. That's one
Bunny's
thing.
been working on our jump shots.
Yeah, I think that's kind of we all like to do jump shots. I think it's good for many reasons. One, it breaks their line of sight. Two, it can be used a lot to just gather intel, right? Like I'm a big fan of using it for intel gathering. Oh, that's another one. Like, see, somebody holding a prone position right there, just jumping over the box, coming over, you're gonna get that win every time.
That's why I like that, though. And those clips lead into each other. It's all right, the jump shots, and yeah, the jump shots are for fun, but you see the mechanic is the same there. She jumps the box, actually, to stop the prone guy from having the angle advantage on it. It's something that catches him off guard. He has to react to positioning. And what's the one thing you can't do whilst you're prone? Swing up.
Yep.
And it's very, very difficult to lift that scope up high enough to be able to challenge that there. So Bunny using some smart play, combined with the jump shot mechanic to get over the box and then put the guy on the ground, without any difficulty. And there's another one here. I think this is a couple of quick kills. It's just some good gameplay in general all around.
Yeah, and for the love of God, don't reload when you're prone.
Yeah. So, we had an argument about this. Bunny was trying to tell me that this was not a good reactionary shot. And I'm like, okay. So Bunny's telling me she whiffed there.
I don't think she whiffed there. I contest, because anybody who plays this game seriously, elevation changes are extremely hard to do, right? Like when you're fighting somebody on a ramp, right? Most of us have that pre-locked in headshot angle, right? And the second they start elevating or jumping, right, it takes a lot of practice and skill to be able to like flick in those directions, right? So in my opinion, that's really the testament of growth, right? Showing the next level of gameplay is really being able to adjust vertically, or inverted in my case.
Yeah, absolutely. This is over-caffeinated, Bunny, she's saying. Awake for 37 hours, and I agree with you. I mean, height elevations, especially changing height elevations on a diagonal too, they're some of the hardest ones to be able to handle, because it's at any point in time, somebody can just step off of that angle and it immediately changes that height, and it makes life so much more difficult to be able to fight into, because that drop, especially with servers, registration in general, it's very hard to trace a model straight down after they're already rising up to an angle. So, yeah, interesting one on that one there, but good shots nonetheless. Decoy, I believe we've got a couple of magic ones from yourself as well.
There's a few in there.
There's a few in there, is there? There's a few in there. There's a few in here, chat. All right, so let's have a look at a few.
Okay, so I'm going to preface this. Everybody else kind of fell over one by one when we had the
rough
post
around this one, right?
and I was just sitting up here the entire time, just like part of me really wanted to swing out and try and help somebody, but I was like, nah, I have a power position here. I'm staying.
Okay, so talk us through the moves then.
So like Scooby obviously fell over. This was just me trying to like clean up, right? Like in all honesty, like I had a power position. We had bomb down in a good position for me in top med. And there's no reason for me to swing out before everybody else is moving themselves, right? I might as well mask my own audio.
Gotcha. And playing slow over playing fast every time then?
Well, see,
It depends on the
In that
situation.
position specifically, though,
Yeah,
because of where you were at. Yeah, gotcha.
Like that's one of Decoy's strengths, right? Is being able to make that determination. Yes, he could have moved, but he knew that they had no idea he was there, right? So by not moving and holding the audio cues and really allowing them to get into open positions, he was able to win it easily, right? And so like Decoy's really good at like assessing those situations in the heat of the moment and critical to the team.
We laugh about this to me and Decoy because we talk about overcomplicating things and overthinking things. It's kind of an interesting combo because I overcomplicate things and Decoy overthinks things, which is hilarious for the person that talks the most to be the one that overthinks the least of the two. If you followed all of that, then you might have ADHD and you might need to join me and Decoy in our theory sessions. I'll be honest with you. Long and short, the joke though, you're right. Decoy's playmaking and his decision-making side of the game is what, for me, sets him apart in his role. And what actually kind of confuses me in the team dynamic is that Scuba's almost a lurking playmaker, but Decoy arguably plays that playstyle in a different role.
Oh, agree. I think everybody has their strengths and weaknesses, right? Like, like Buperino is super aggressive on flank, which is great, and sometimes we need that, right? Oh, that's just gross.
I'm gonna say
so you have to have some fun, all right? So like, okay, this is gonna tangent a little bit, but
okay.
Everybody who plays this game competitively, we obviously take the game seriously, but like when you're in unranked, right? Like go out there and have some fun. There's no reason to like suck all the joy out of the game, right? Like if you are going to play this game at a high level, like give yourself some downtime, right? Go in there, have some laughs, play some off-meta guns, do some silly things. You know, if people want a knife, go knife them, right? And enjoy the game. That's what it's for. It's a game, right?
If you haven't got a melee and you've got a rig big enough to put your melee in, move your melee from your melee slot into your rig. That way, when you die, someone can rob your melee off of you and then they can knife fight. Pro tip. People don't know about that. That's actually true.
Or just equip a melee because it's 1 MP point.
Like, true. Yeah, or put one in the class. Okay, it's Sprit showing us the less effort of the two options there. Wise choice. So we're changing it a bit. What's this one, Decoy?
This is just this is a little bit of fun, but this was just a nice, fun, like no time clip, right? Like this is just me going W key only.
Ooh. Oh, that's funny how we Interesting. Okay, all right. I like how we both oohed at the same time at the end there. That felt crispy. And then the final one for the lot here.
So this I put in because like, okay, we'll talk about this. Hit reg,
Yes.
right? Like you can replay that for me, hopefully, but chat can disagree with me if they want, but at the beginning of this clip, slower? I feel like, well, way at the beginning, the first burst here, like
this here, yeah,
like
okay,
this is on a tournament server, mind you, right? I feel like I didn't miss shots here, but you know, people can disagree if they want.
All right, chap. All right, chap. Let's put him in the closet. Let's have a look at it for it, shall we? Let's identify.
I'm gonna
What's
have
the
to
words
here.
What's the TV words? Was it enhance? Okay. First port for the class. Crosshair placement. That's a 10.5. That's actually a 10.5 out of 10. That is about as square center mass, bottom of the chin, top of the throat as you can fucking get. Let's be real.
Well, plus with the
Yeah?
recoil, like it should be spot on, right? Like
Top of the class. Okay. Now, what the fuck is this micro adjustment, Decoy?
I mean,
If we're picking it
I'm
apart,
just-
let's say set, we're picking it apart.
I'm finishing my lean is what's happening.
I'm
right
winding you. I'm winding you up. Yeah, that's exactly it. That's exactly it. There's no control involved. Okay. So 2, 3, 4. All right. Let's talk about it. I know it's a bit blurry,
Hey,
but is
over
that a
trees.
big puff of cloud of smoke off of the top of the boxes, just slightly above his head right there? The entire time? Is that 4 bullets that, if you look at it, and that bullet, I mean, crosshair placement is just over the top of his helmet, but you can actually see the ricocheted first bullet. So that's 1 registered headshot, right? The top of the crosshair, there's actually a spark right there as it's frozen on screen.
Yeah.
Second it's box.
Well-
Third it's box. 4th should be dead. That's a kill shot right there. 1, 2. Okay. Out of 5, I'll give you 2 out of 5.
2 out of 5.
Bullets registered. Bullets registered.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, so if I don't have the tournament side of this, but if you actually watch the tournament side of this, he didn't take any damage on that first burst. 0.
And that's where the conversation comes in. Is okay. So I will
Yeah.
agree. I
Yeah.
will agree with you that, and let's look at it at full speed again, so people at home can see it full speed as it should look. I mean, it looks cleaner at full speed. Let's be real. That does look clean as anything. You do still clean them up though. Just saying.
Yes, I do. I mean, Guy Aiden gave us a lot of problems that round, right? Or that map. So I was a little frustrated. But, you know, like, there's always a conversation, right? Between, like, top level players about the hit reg in this game. There's lots of times where I will be completely honest and full disclosure. I go back and look at my clips where I'm like, man, that guy should have fell over. I watch it in slow-mo and I'm like, nah, I just missed, right? Like, it looks good in the moment.
Yeah, that's
Now,
it. And
see, I
Go on.
cope. I say he still should have died.
ooh, you still think it is? Here's where I'm at. That second and the 5th bullet, the ones we say register, I'm sorry, but the first bullet that should have registered that is on center mass, he's dead. That's a headshot. Sorry, in my books, that's a square center mass, and it's not even on the helmet actually. It's like here. And I mean, is it a Cayman? It is a Cayman. So face shield ricochet. I don't know. You feels Tarkov, man. I'm gonna be honest with you. At that point in time, that's a very I got Tarkov'd in that one a little bit, but you did put a point in the section where we gather this stuff for the podcast, and you said this is a hit reg talking point for a reason. Give me a real answer before we send it out for a break for everybody to go and get some snacks and some hydration for the second half of the podcast. Out of 10, where's hit reg right now?
Oh man.
It's a tough one. It's a tough one.
Yeah. It's better. I'd probably put it at like a 6 personally. There's still some inconsistencies I feel with the armor plates. There's a lot of ricochets that happen. Right? I know
Okay.
that's part of the game, but like there was one time with the spear, I ricked somebody 3 times on a Cayman with a bastion plate. Like
Yep.
that to me seems a little excessive. I know there's randomization, but that does throw you for a loop sometimes, right?
I can feel that because I have had a registered 8 hit count with the Vector with the 45 ACP with 45 AP in it. 8 bullets, point blank into a Cayman plate, and all 8 of them ricocheted. The entire spray ricocheted at less than a meter distance away. I was stood behind the guy, and I did that thing where you mouse button 1 and you go, okay, he should be dead, and I turned around, and the guy didn't fall over in my kill feed, at which point I turned back around and he shits on me. So, definitely, there is definitely something with the dice rolls and the random number generation. I think hit reg is a big part of that right now. But you said 6 is, you're happy with the 6?
I think I'm good with the 6 is where I would put it right now.
Okay, chat's coming with a
I'm
7. Cul-de-sac's saying a 7. Dover's going for a 6.5, and that's what I'm going to ask you, Decoy. Is are you on the chat side of things? Are you with Sprit? Are we with Unks down here? What's the feel?
So I'm going to disagree with Sprit, but I'm going to look at Tarkov as like by itself, right? Like over the course of Tarkov, like main game to arena to now, right?
Mm-hmm.
I mean, I'd give it a 7, right?
Okay.
Like it's not as bad as it's been in some points of the game, all right? It's not as good as it has been either, right? Like we've had better hit reg. I would say honestly, like before this like wipe, like before Christmas, we actually had better hit reg towards the end of last wipe, like maybe before that last patch event last wipe.
Mm.
Um, and then most recently, I think where the hit reg took a hit was the PMC rendering, which has caused a lot of like the animation
Right.
bugs, right?
Yes.
Like I
Yes.
feel like that is also like a key issue on like when you are quick peeking people or when
Mm.
people quick peek you, right? Like the timing of their animation, where their hitboxes actually are, like is it delayed for you like when you actually see them or not? All those things are kind of
Yep.
called into question, right? And it makes it very difficult to determine whether or not like the hit reg itself is like messed up or if it's just because the animations and the server like information is messed up, right?
Mm. Okay.
So
Client
I
side versus server side always been something that comes into the conversation as well, right, Sprit?
Yeah, I mean, I think that's always a problem, but I actually think the reason I gave it a 6, right, is it seems like it's more pervasive on other guns and ammo types, right? Like
Okay.
like seeing Scooby on like the TX-15, like Reg before, he's like two shot headshot. Now like he's dead on them, and sometimes they just don't take any damage. Like it's crazy, right? Like and so I've seen it more like in some of the marksman's classes, right? And I don't know if that was balancing because TRG came in or whatever, right? But I feel like there's something off there, right? Like even on the vector, like yeah, vector goes burr, but like it's still not as powerful as I remember from like main game, dude. You could run around like interchange with a vector and just
And you would
kill everything.
shred people.
You
Well,
would shred. You would
it's that
shred, right?
feeling of shred that's missing. Sometimes you would feel like you pull your vector and it's like going through Swiss cheese. You're straight through it. There's no resistance whatsoever. Whereas now you can stand in front of an enforcer. I mean, all right, tier 5, tier 6 plates, I understand, but any tier 4, any other class, including that assault with the Cayman helmet, by the way, should melt. Like, I'm built as a scout class to get through that bruiser. In fact, realistically,
Exactly.
my only crux as a scout class should be that brute force enforcer if he plays with a buddy. Like, it should be 2v1 in the scout. Like, the scout should pen people. The assault should be able to handle their own against everything other than a scout with better ammo TTK, but if the assault plays it smarter, they should be able to outplay the scout rather than just straight up out ego duel him. Your marksman should be able to outdamage everybody, but should
Yeah.
be completely consistent on relying on that range or having a safe playstyle and maybe being backed up by a CQB teammate to alleviate some of that pressure. Not being allowed to just run up to somebody and, point blank shotgun bolted them. And I think that sort of mentality and that character identity for the class trees is going to be something that's going to help the game to grow in the future. Um, with that being said, I think it's time to take a little break. Let's have a breather and give you guys a little rest. Give the guys in the chat a little rest and a bit of a moment to chat about what we've been discussing so far. So for now, ladies and gentlemen, if you've just joined us, we are going to take a quick 10-minute interval. If you're just joining, it's episode 6. This is the EpicFailZ Esports organization. The captain and co-founder Sprit, and Mr. Decoy Spritian. It will be. I'll pop it underneath, and there will be a post in the Twitch page and Twitter page, obviously after this, for you guys to all check out the links for their team pages, their individual pages, individual Twitch streams, schedules, all the bits and bobs that are going on in the background, access to the Discord, and how to get involved. For the meantime, don't go too far, because like I say, we're only going to be 10 minutes. We're going to come back and talk about the thoughts for next weekend's Vanguard Proving Grounds. Who you're facing as Div 1, who you're facing as Div 2, how you reckon you're going to do, what the expectations are behind those results, and then a couple of other topics before we close out, including maybe looking at a couple of personal bits and bobs, drips, kits, current meta weapon choices, and much, much more. So if you've been enjoying yourselves, thank you for hanging around. Maybe take a moment to follow, or even swing by the YouTube page, which is currently growing and expanding at a rate of knots, where all of these videos will be posted after the podcast is finished, just in case you didn't catch it live and you want to catch up on the bits you missed, so you can watch it in between your breaks at work or on an evening whilst you're winding down from your gaming. For now, thank you for joining us, but don't go too far because we'll be right back. Hello, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome back to episode 6 of the Welcome to Arena podcast. My name is Cracked Wisdom, and this week I am joined with the EpicFailZ Esports gamer team and org, not only captained by the man, the myth, and legend himself, Spiritian, there, saluting you from the lower left or right hand of your screen, depending on which way you're looking at the orientation, and then joined also by the mystical, mythical Mr. Wukong of our EpicFailZ Esports squad, that is Mr. Decoy himself. The two members have joined me on the casting bench today to talk about the current state of the game, Arena, how they're doing in their competitive endeavours, and what the plans are for the future. Now, plans for the future, maybe not something we're going to talk about straight off the rip, but plans for the now, or how we like to immerse ourselves in our hobbies, I think is what we're going to take to starting off the second half of the podcast. And Sprit, you've been around, respectfully. You've done a few things with your life. You've earned a couple of grey hairs, absolutely. Those, ladies and gentlemen, that's like a medal of valor for life. Is that there? Every grey hair has been earned through surviving a year, right?
Oh yeah, oh yeah. I mean, busy life, but playing games, especially Arena, is kind of my takeaway. Once the family has settled, my lovely wife, my 3 kids that are older now, I find my escape from a very stressful work in shooting people. So go figure.
I mean, valid, fair. It makes sense, right? You get to go and have a chance at popping people's heads inside of the game. It's good, but also the ability to, I guess, immerse yourself in that hobby of collecting different pieces of your own. I believe you have a little something to share with the folks at home, right? Now, just before we get this on screen, folks, I will preface this is for educational purposes only. This is fully and thoroughly maintained by somebody with gun skill and safety at the top of the priority list, okay? So, ladies and gentlemen, when handling weapons, if it is legal in your state or in your area, please make sure you do so responsibly.
Absolutely. So you all know I'm a fan of the spear, and I'm the fan of a spear because I'm a fan of the spear in real life. So I'm gonna show my firearm here in a second, and then I do push to talk, so I'll have to discuss it after. But I'll point to a couple things, and then I'll go over it. So one second.
Lovely jubbly. We're going to get that set up for you guys now. So, something that I'm really a big fan of. We did talk about this, folks, but it's a spear. It's an actual spear. You get your hollow on the top, comes with its own 2-part scope. Now, I know most of you that are familiar with this style of scope from base game or from Arena both say that it's absolutely tragic. It's not the best when it comes to how it plays out in game, but it is super cool for malleability in real life. Nice flashlight, foregrip, small and compact for comfort. Might be an old man, but he still needs his nice ergonomics on the weapon. W on that one there. And then we'll hand you over to Sprit to explain the beautiful weapon. What a nice little piece, and what a great little thing to show.
And that's what a Lancer mag actually looks like in real life, if you
Wow.
were curious. So
There you go.
huge fan of firearms in real life, obviously. So that spear is my Gucci gun, if you will. It is chambered in 300 blackout. It's an AR pistol, not a foregrip. That is a hand stop on the front, just for clarification. But it does have EOTech XPS 0 on, or sorry, EXPS 0 on it. It's got a mod light with a pressure plate system. Let's see what else. That's pretty much it, and a nice titanium suppressor. So you want to see a bullet? Okay.
Can we see a bullet? I mean, we will show you one, but remember, folks, again, educational purposes, all right? I'm not encouraging anybody to go out and go and grab one and start using them, all right? These things are, in Sprit's local area, there are rules and regulations around this, and you have to abide by those to be able to own one of these things. So, like we say, just make sure you're following the rules, folks, all right?
Yeah, this is all airsoft. Yeah, it's fake.
Yeah.
No, not AP. Those are just normal ball ammo, but it is subsonic for 300 blackout. Obviously, because you get better suppression with a suppressor on subsonic ammo. You can run a supersonic through a suppressor. It'll be mildly louder, but you'll get a little bit more feet per second in distance and stuff. So.
And that transitions to in-game as well, right, Sprit? We're going to show the folks at home one of the loadouts we've had provided. This is your setup, shall we say. So is this like if you could really go out and get kitted yourself, you take that spear that you've got of your own version, is this what you're going to wear alongside it? All right, if you could mail order any Tarkov kit to wear alongside your spear, is this where we're going, is it?
Probably not the Gen 4 HMK because while it's high mobility, that thing weighs a ton with all the plates that it has. But the reason I wear it in game is, talking to Buperino about it, he advised, hey, you should run it for all the soft armor plates that you get around it. You really protect that stomach. You get the thorax protection as well, even the side plates. So it actually works out really well. Some people don't like running it because obviously there's an impact to mobility still, right, and turning radius and things like that. But overall, I've adapted to it pretty well. I actually like it. In real life, I'm probably run something like a Slick or a Hex, if I'm being perfectly honest, right?
Okay.
Comtac 4s, since the audio rework, I don't know, it feels like 6 months ago now. Those are probably the best headsets that I like, at least with my in-game IEM setup. They're pretty consistent. The gas welders are an absolute must. Even with those, sometimes you get fully flashed, but it would be absolutely abysmal if you were not wearing those and you'd be useless for 30 seconds, right? And then I think the last thing to note is just really the stims, right? I'm not running any meds here, it sucks, but it is what it is. But Trimadol, if you're a new arena gamer, that is the number one stim you should run on every kit. It's just unlimited stamina for both, your arms and your legs. It's just absolutely necessary when you get into those positions where you have to do a hard rotate. The last thing you want to be doing is running out of breath trying to rotate to another site, right? Meldonin for that little extra strength boost, and then Perf really just to stop the bleeds and give me that slow regenerative heal if I've just engaged and won a couple battles. It'll kind of put me back in the fight within a few seconds. So.
And this is a conversation we have between the three of us a lot of the time is what is the perfect stim combo, not to forget that the Trimadol, of course, also your painkiller, the Perfitorin, also a great choice for the heavy bleeds and light bleeds as a cancelling stim because you don't have meds in that kit. So that little extra health bump it gives you as well as a bit of regeneration being its secondary use alongside that cancelling of the bleeds makes Perfitorin a really good combo. So the Trimadol Melatonin Perfitorin combo, one very familiar used. And this is your spear, I believe, to go with it, is it not, Sprit? Is this the setup you prefer?
This is the setup I prefer. I know a lot of people like to run the MOE stock, but I do love my ergo, right? And maybe it's because I'm an older gamer. I feel like I like to ADS things. I still
Okay.
pre-fire before ADSing, but I like to feel confident in my shots. So sometimes when you have low ergo guns, right, you're gonna delay yourself. So I always try to find a good balance between like that vertical recoil and the ergo. So I like the DDECB with the I think it's the TCS 12 pad. That gives you at least, I think it's like 63 ergo. I'm running like 62 vert. It's a good sweet spot for me. I know you can get a little lower on the vert, but it's not really going to matter that much. I'd really like to be over 60 really on that ergo. Again, I love the EOTech optics in real life, which you saw, and so obviously love them in game. A little more impactful in game, though. I know a lot of people like to run like the Burris or the Delta Point because you get better line of sight visibility. And I'm going to be honest, the EOTech has blocked me at some points in battles, but it's still super crisp. It's a really nice hollow, and I just like it generally. I think everyone runs the SE5 on the spear. If you're not, you should run it. And then obviously the Grawl for the hand grip. But yeah, that's pretty much my build. Obviously the colors we decided on easy. We were going to do top and bottom in white, and then the middle was going to be red. But obviously you can't colorize the spear that much, so it looks a little weird. But that's still the team colors that we go for.
Soon to come, hopefully, the body of the spear to be painted, the magazines and the suppressor to go alongside the rest of the kit that goes on it. Something I think a lot of the guys in the future will be looking forward to, as the spear is definitely a mainstay in the weapons and the meta right now. 4 major pointers on this build, personally, I want to point out to the folks at home and the differences in your playstyle to how this gun can be built out in different versions of its own meta. The first pointer is a very you thing that every player in the game should be doing. And I'm going to zoom in now on the front of the handguard where you have these 3 rails. It's an M-Lock RL rail, both on the bottom and on the left and the right-hand side of that guard. These rails cost you 1 meta point each. Each rail is equivalent to +1 ergonomics on your gun, so the standard build without those rails on there would actually only be 60 ergo. This might sound daft, but those little bits of ergo count. 3 ergo for free without any negative penalties on any gun is a must-have for 3 meta score. You really, really,
Absolutely.
really should be spending 1 meta point for all 3 of those rails, and they can go on multiple platforms, right, Sprit? It's a spear, they go on M4s. If the rail can have them, you should be putting them on there, right?
Absolutely. It doesn't matter what gun it is. If you have the opportunity to get free ergo out of your gun just by putting a rail on and not attaching anything, 100% do it all day long.
Additionally, to add to this one, again, we're going to look at the SE5. This one's more of an obvious one for the folks at home that have played any form of Tarkov, base game or arena. The RK1, the longer, more recoil controlling foregrip. That's the one that people go for, right? If they don't want to base their perspective on an ergo mindset, they're looking for more recoil control. I see that being the only other option that is commonly chosen on the spear, is that way more heavily recoil based option over the SE5, but SE5 best in slot for the ergonomics choice. Not too much to talk about there, but just the other option that most people go for. The third one for me is the Daniel Defense ECB stock you've got on there, and absolutely, again, with the TCS 12, which is the thinner of the two butt pads, more ergonomic than recoil based. That entire setup is designed around an ergo mindset. To dumb it down for the guys at home, TLDR when it comes to stocks, the red advanced buffer tube on any platform is always the best option. The HK has its own version of it, but it's a different one entirely, so we'll talk about that separately when somebody brings an HK, but primarily, the red advanced buffer tube is the go-to. On top of that red advanced buffer tube, if you want ergonomics, you go Daniel Defense and a TCS 12. If you want recoil with good ergo compatibilities with it, you go for the MOE stock and the butt pad that comes along with that, instead the Magpul MOE. And that there is where this gun changes. So the other meta build for this for me is the RK1 and the MOE stock with that better visibility on the scope. Like you say, you prefer your XPS3. And the fourth talking point is that scope for me, and that is that the most familiar combo on the top of that weapon is, like you said, either a Boris Fastweaver or a Daniel Defense Leopold, one of the Delta Point sights, or something similar to that.
Yep, absolutely. But no, I mean, all in all, there's not much customization you can do to a spear, right? Like, I mean, trust me, I think we've all tried running it without the suppressor to get more ergo, but it's just not viable. So sadly, there's not a lot of customization you can do to the spear, but even still, in its current inception, it's a very, very viable firearm in Tarkov Arena.
And only a slightly different variation there. This is Decoy's kit on screen for you folks at home. A slightly different, slightly more intimidating look. And we're going to get to Decoy to run through the mentality of this all the way down to the drip as well, because this was quite drippy. I like the AVS. I like the choice of the Battle Pass AVS being brought in with the camo that matches the loadout. I like the fact that it goes with the spear colours itself. The fact that you've also got your MOE stock with the butt pad relating to that for the Magpul version on there. Decoy, that's more of my style of spear than what Sprit likes with his ergo. And maybe his gun skill of being able to control that recoil better is, more favourable, and his first bullet accuracy is where he goes with it. I would be with you on this mentality. So talk to me, because the first thing that strikes me on your kit difference, well, two things. One, desert camo, big W, really like that. And two, the smile mask.
Well, everybody likes the smile mask, all right? Like, you got to get a little bit of venom in there. Shout out to our Div 2 player Venom. So just going down from top to bottom, in all honesty, like, the spear is still extremely expensive right now, so you have to make different helmet choices. So the Bastion is just one of the cheapest level 4 helmets that you can get that has a good Rick chance. The new Bastion, like, there's two different versions of the Bastion. The newer ones there are 400 meta points. I mean, I rate them. I've been testing out the AVS because, like we were talking about before, there's a lot of flesh damage meta going on right now, and any extra soft armor protection is a good thing. And the AVS does have that groin protection, so yeah, I'm rating it. I like being able to move. I don't like any kind of penalties on my armor, and the AVS is pretty low on penalties, so I'm doing that right now. The one main difference between me and Sprit on the spear is the fact that I have a laser. So anybody can go and test this out. Go into the shooting range, but try shooting the spear without a laser from, like, your point fire or your hip fire, however you want to call it.
Yep.
And with the laser, there is a huge difference between the two. So if you have the ability, and a lot of main gamers have this, to be mindful of turning on and off your laser, I would go there. And then the only other real difference is, like, I have an extra movement stim on mine, and I dropped the Perfectorin for an AHF1 because of it, just from the meta point value.
So, did you do the math? Is it intentional, or is that an accidental 11,500? Because
No,
With,
that's
with
intentional.
That's an intentional 11.5. So you did the math on it, all right? Go on then. How long did it take to cook the math on that, and how did you go about doing that for the folks at home? Because that's a big one for me. Is I don't mind min maxing to the point where if you're at 11, 4, 10, you get about 90 points to min max. You should be doing something about that. That could be anything as big as 3 bullets, which is a massive thing in this game, especially when ammo is sparing. But if you're 498 and a bit, and you're just missing that 1 point something to get you to the 11.5, is it worth min maxing?
No, I mean, like, everybody likes to joke about, like, the whole, like, perfect Metascore kit, right? But in
Mm-hmm.
all honesty, like, having a perfect Metascore kit doesn't fully matter, right? As long as you get everything you need, right?
Yep.
Leading up to the tournament, I actually made like 4 variants of a spear kit that all hit 11,500. I
That's
made like
kind of
4 different
crazy.
like perfect kits.
He's our min maxer.
I can spend hours like main game gun creation. Like, don't get me started. Like in
Okay.
arena, I can like meta out a kit as long as I need to. I will just sit there and mess around with it until I have everything that I want. So
Love to hear it. Love to hear it. Okay. So that closes out the section of our personal thoughts on drip and kit, except from the one question which I love to ask the pros when we get you guys on here. If you got given the chance to be a bit creative, all right, if you're a Crash Bandicoot fan, you fancied yourself as a little bit of an engine or a Neo Cortex in the lab cooking up a futuristic weapon, you could take two Tarkov weapons and slam them together to go wreak havoc on the world in future. What would you do and why?
Oh man. I think just to be a troll, I would want a shotgun underbarrel on my spear, but not impact my ergo.
Oh, wait, pump shotgun or like an actual
I
mag
think pump
loaded?
shotgun would be fine. Listen, I love the spear. 25 rounder. When are we gonna get the 50 rounders in main game and arena? I don't think it's ever gonna happen, but that would be amazing. Spear goes burr, so you lose a lot of bullets fast, and the reload time isn't actually great. So I think having like under rail gun would be kind of sick, to be honest with you. But I'm biased because I'm a spear player, so.
This is crazy, folks. We've had 6 episodes of the podcast now, right? And every pro we've asked, we've said they've come up with something out of this world. Sprit is a simple man. He's got the entire realms of possibility at his hands, and all he wants is a 50 rounder for his spear. That's it. Just a 50 rounder for his spear. He's happy,
There's
man.
nothing
Or
wrong with the spear.
even just a single pump shotgun underneath it. He says, "I'm happy. Give me my spear. Give me some toys for my spear. Snap-on tools and attachments." And the man says, "Hey, fair play, fair play. A simple man needs simple things. Don't need to overcomplicate it if it works, right? If it ain't broke, I'll fix it." Decoy, what are you making?
So I'm going to be really honest. Part of the reason I am not a huge fan of SMGs is like I just have better point to aim, point to fire with like a long barrel, right?
Okay,
It's the same
okay.
reason I don't like bullpups. If you made like the Vector with essentially an AR platform, like something that shoots like that fast, I don't care if it's 45 ACP, right? If you gave that to me in a long barrel, I'd run that every day. No problem.
He's having.
hit the ergo. I don't care. Like I can play without too much ergo. Like give me just enough ergo to not oversway, and I'll run that happily.
Crazy. I love it. I always love this question. It brings up so many different perspectives on mentality of it. Trevi's out there with a comment in the chat, and that makes me feel sad inside. A PKM with Shrap 10, thanks. No, no,
Yeah,
Hmm.
that's a big no
no.
from me.
Please, no. That's a rocket launcher with a bayonet. We've got restrictions coming in there. I love this. Everybody's got such creative ideas for these folks. We had a couple where I even went and got my good friend and mod, the King of the North, to go and look at an image of his own for us. He made us this, which I think was really cool, which we showed off a couple of weeks back, but we'll show you this one again for those of you at home that maybe missed it. So
Ooh.
this is a futuristic generated version of what the thought process behind this was. So you know those grenade launcher shells? Yeah, those shells.
Yeah.
The
The
explosive ones.
GLs.
Yeah, the GL shells. Yeah, that's it. That's it. One of those mag loaded, breach loading, whole ability, whole 9 yards, but also a flurry mode, where just underneath that laser you see there's like a circular dial that's currently pointing towards the barrel. You snap that dial down towards the mag, and it turns it into what's called the expenditure mode, where it just literally empties every bullet in the magazine at 600 rounds per minute.
Jesus. Okay.
It's
I'll
like a
take one.
fusion rifle, but a fusion rifle with grenade shells. There's a flurry of grenade shells just being. I feel like that, you know?
That's a perfect truck gun. That's all I'm saying.
Uh,
Well,
I
they
don't
teased
disagree.
RPGs, and I'm telling you now, I will take this over an RPG any day. How do you feel about the RPGs, by the way? Have either of you got to test the RPG in the new current game? Have either of you gotten to try out the new RPG event or anything that's been going down in base game?
No, I haven't. The only time I play base game is Goth Mommies wants to go run interchange because that's our jam, and we like to do that occasionally. I did play a little bit of Labyrinth, but those were before they released it, so not for me yet.
Let's talk about that actually, Decoy. Let's talk about this, all right?
Mm.
Because me and you, we play a bit of like whatever really takes our fancy at the time, or we don't necessarily play, and we'll just sit and theory craft something for a varied amount of our time. But there's become this like almost pastime for the EpicFailZ org and members of the community, hasn't there? Where it's just what is it called? Mall time. It's like a common phrase where these people just go shopping in game.
Yeah. We say we're
Yeah,
going to the mall, right?
gotta go to the mall, right? Goth is usually the instigator of mall time. He pulls in whoever he can, and we just it's not even really shopping. We're really just window looking for PMCs at that point.
I see.
Like
I
that
see.
that is the honest truth of mall time.
Any
The
natural inhabitant of interchange would call it terrorism, I think, but
Oh,
Oh, for sure. Our goal is to W key every sound cue, period. It doesn't matter if it's a scav, kill another PMC. We are not stopping. And then, like, we have this rundown where, obviously you got to pop the SJ6. So we're getting in there and we're just going crazy. So it's fun. Like, I like that.
it's something that we try and avoid being in the voice channel for as mall time because it gets a bit hectic sometimes when you guys are running around and be like, I hear someone. Where? He's in the back of Goshen 4 minutes later as each of the four members have spread across the various sections of the maps to control the whole area. You just hear a thunder of elephant. And it's who can get to the poor sod first in the back of food that's like literally bricking it because one of the four has already gotten pinned in the corner with a flashlight or something like that, for sure.
Yeah.
Definitely don't be trolling them all unless you want to run into the EpicFailZ boys on the NA servers in a standard NA time, I think we'd say. Got to watch out for mall time because we might have to get a flag of our own up and maybe open an EpicFailZ merch shop inside of Interchange soon, the way the boys are running it in there, right?
I mean,
Absolutely.
Goth would love that.
They'd be down for it, you reckon?
Yeah, no, the Goth would absolutely be down for it. He would go claim that store as his own. That'd
Oh,
be
for
probably
sure.
where he'd drag all his loot into.
So talk to me about how we feel about this weekend just gone. Okay, Vanguard Proving Grounds, great new tournament that's just started, brand new. Something on the horizon with the potential for repeat tournaments coming up. Future, good effort from Loot. Honestly, a phenomenal job from the guys in the production so far. For what I've seen of it, it's great. That's exactly what you want for the first time showing for an org to come forward with a tournament of their own, where the scene is continuing to expand and it feels like a good environment. I mean, great to be able to bring the Div 2 team along with us as well as the Div 1 team this time, so they both get a shot at the just being able to play competitive, really, not even at the prize pool, but just the experience. And the same for Vanguard's academy squad too. Nice to see that there's not just us that are trying to breed the talent from the lower ranks as well and get everybody to a level to develop, but give everybody the chance to as well. So how do you feel you performed? How do you feel the other teams performed? Was there anyone who surprised you? And what are the thoughts going into next weekend?
Director
Yeah.
Sprit first.
All right, I'll go first. First of all, Loot and the entire Vanguard team, a really amazing job setting it up. I mean, the production quality, the scheduling, the mods helping the teams play, really everything. It was pretty flawless, right? Our experience has been nothing but great, and we look forward to more things that you guys do in the future. Going into it, like I said, we're a newer team. We've been established for about 2 months now and we've been grinding really, really hard. I would say In those 2 months, we probably played over 20 scrims, which is a lot. And we've had roster changes too during that time. So it's been quite a bit for us, trying to work through, some of our default strats. As IGL, obviously, I call audibles and things like that. But like post plant holds and, rotations and things like that, buddy system, who you're pairing up with. A lot of those things had to be worked on. So, we've made some really great progress going into this tournament. We still have work to do, right? Like we're still figuring it out. I still think we showed up. We did have a slow start against New Dawn, against them in bowl. I think had we played the first half a little bit more conservatively aggressive is the best way I would put it. I think we probably could have taken a couple more rounds, but it was a hard fought match. They've been grinding equally as hard. They've been going to town on their VOD reviewing and everything else that they do as a team to prepare, and they showed up, right. Like so, it was a hard match, but I was still happy with our outcome. I think we played extremely well. We didn't give up. That's my biggest thing, right? Even when you're down, you got to play the game round by round. So I think we're taking those learnings going into this weekend to really see how we're going to perform. I don't recall who we're playing first.
AQ.
We're playing AQ. Okay. That's going to be another hard fought match, right? I mean, AQ has a lot of respect in the organization. They've been around for a while. They know what they're doing. And so, we got to give them the respect that they deserve. So I look forward to it. Again, our goal is to put on a good show for everybody who's watching. So.
That's it, and that's what we love about the mentality. That was the first thing that when we had the conversation opening up of coming to join you as a coach, I was very enthused with. First of all, it was like, what's the mentality of the team like? How are we for taking feedback on board? And you guys had me in the channel for a good half an hour whilst we spoke about sort of what the intentions were, where everybody's mentality was at, and it's just thoroughly a really enjoyable environment. And for the folks at home that might be catching this, maybe not live on Twitch, but you've tuned in on the YouTube video or rewatching the VOD on Twitch, on screen for you, as you won't be able to see the chat in that video, there is the link to the tournament page for Twitch for this weekend. Okay, so just so that you're aware of what ways we're referencing, it is the first time Vanguard Gaming has put on a tournament of their own, but this is the page you want to go to. Okay, it was Saturday, Sunday weekend just gone, and this weekend coming Saturday, Sunday, where EpicFailZ Esports with their Div 1 and their Div 2 team will be having a shot at the Proving Grounds, which is an aptly named tournament, I think, guys. And really, really, like I said, we're very impressed over here at Easy Esports of the efforts that have gone in from Vanguard from this. So, folks, don't forget to jump on that link. Go drop it a follow so you're ready for when it goes live this weekend, so you can tune in to see how EpicFailZ do, and the rest of the squads there as well. Vanguard got both their squads in. The Div 1 team and the Academy team. At the end of the day, the prize pool is not massive, but it's not necessarily a prize pool based tournament, is it? This is more of like a bragging right. It's a proving grounds for a reason. Decoy, you've enjoyed it so far. How's the heat?
Yeah, I mean, in all honesty, Loot and Vanguard have done an excellent job on their first tournament, right? Production quality is top tier. They've had good mods. I mean, the only issue on day one was like only in-game issues, right? Like we had a couple disconnects, restart of lobbies. Um, I mean, much love to all the guys over there. I will put my only gripe out, which is like I feel like the bracketing could have been done a little bit better, but like that's it, really, on my end of things. That and they just need some more people in there spectating so they can have a better like cut. But the guy doing the camera work is doing his best, and he's really showing up. Um, Aside from that, I mean, teams and performances. I think everybody did pretty well for the most part. Not to plug our Div 2, but our Div 2 like really showed out against Vibe Check. They did an excellent job. Um, was there somebody's performance that actually surprised me? I I don't necessarily think anybody surprised me. But there was definitely a couple teams that super locked in. Vibe Check like super locked in. I mean they had a rough couple games on the round robin side of things, but they really like showed out individually, if that makes sense.
Impressed? Yeah, I mean, from the casting bench from my first day endeavors and then watching the second day alongside those 4 games, I'm going to be honest with you, the player that stood out the most to me is Clarity. Redacted Society's Clarity is one. Maybe it's just because I've not necessarily bumped into them in the NA scene as much as maybe the likes of yourself or Creek Lord from the first moments of bumping into people in ranked games and being invited to play with you guys when I'm up at silly o'clock in the morning at 6 a.m. or whatnot. It is that, all the EU guys are in bed, of course, because they have sleeping schedules, unlike myself. But yeah, Clarity's just built a little different for me. Like, I was really impressed with how this guy was moving around. And I think it speaks a lot to Redacted Society. That was my surprise was this week. Like, don't get me wrong, I know Trevi is strong. I know that Redacted Society have a good background in gaming, and that them as an org as well is a very powerful thing that's doing great things for the gaming scene before they came to Tarkov. And then now, engaging with that, sort of combining forces with that of the mustache, and bringing the myth to the foreground. So, like, I'm not just glazing Clarity. I'm actually going to glaze the whole team. I actually think Redacted Society played exceptionally well in their first game. The second outing, which felt very rough from Redacted's side, where they were not victorious, was more a shock to me, and that says a lot. That, like, I would view that as a shock, as an underperformance, than them doing so exceptionally well when they overperformed. Is that right? Like, we've scrimmed against them a couple of times. It's a very competently strong team. It's a very good core in strategical planning, and being able to have members not be undisciplined. Honestly, like, a really good disciplined core. Like, it's hard to fight them. So I was impressed at the Redacted Society performance this weekend. I
Uh,
think the other one,
uh,
New Dawn, as well.
yeah, both. I think you saw some good IGL pivotings from both teams, right? And I think you
Mm-hmm.
could clearly see that. Probably easier from the caster box, but even as spectators, right? We scrimmed RS a few times too. I mean, there was one time where they rotated from site to site in a impacted situation like 5 times, right? And still got the bomb down, which just kind of shows to that rigor of, hey, playing the audio cues, thinking outside the box. Don't commit just because you called to rotate once, right? If you have an opportunity and you know they're rotating, then go back to the other side, right? And I think you saw New Dawn do a little bit of that as well, right? And that goes a long way. So really sticking to your guns, right? Knowing your players, knowing your team, knowing how they operate, and calling those things effectively. That is the job of the IGL, right? So
Yeah, absolutely. Nail on the head. I think you've hit the nail on the head very well with that one there. I think the the one that impressed me the most in the back end of a couple of rounds was Buzz. A couple of cool, kooky kills, and, like, positions that they're almost Scooby-esque sometimes. Really weird positioning that you don't necessarily think of as your natural first or second default. It's like that third mythical default that doesn't really exist, and you're just kind of loitering in an area, being that scumbag that everybody swears blind at when you catch them off guard because you were in an odd position. So it was very cool to watch the Redacted Society squad developing even further, and obviously with, like I say, Redacted getting involved with the scene recently. It's one that I've been quite, keen to follow the track of. Same with you guys being fresh as well. I mean, realistically, the NA scene right now is being snatched up left, right, and centre by different orgs and different interests. The Panderic team, you've got Redacted, you've got yourselves, we've got New Dawn that started from just the Women of Prayer, like you said, yourself and Slaughter. Because this is the other thing, folks, I want to mention, that although the members here that were playing with the original New Dawn squad are not connected to New Dawn now, that started off with a similar mindset from Sprit and Slaughter as a concept, which Slaughter took charge of. He's grabbed a hold of that one by the mantle, and he's sort of powered that one to its heights at the moment, and good on Slaughter for doing so. Pulled in 4 members that have got the time to play. I'm going to be honest, I don't understand how Guy Aiden keeps up his level of consistency, bearing in mind the guy doesn't play, which is crazy as a joke as it is. And I mean that, folks. It is an absolute joke, and I mean that with the biggest of fondness. But this guy doesn't play the game. He's very good at the game, but he barely puts a ton of hours into it, and it's impressive to see such a consistent performance on game day from somebody like Guy Aiden, under the loose cannonry of Slaughter and company, to do so well. So New Dawn definitely had a hat tipped off to them for the respect and the performance they put out in weekend 1, but it is one weekend. They've got an even tougher weekend ahead of them this weekend, as do we all that didn't succeed with a flawless record in the first, right? And that's merely to fight your way through the rounds that other teams have got buys from. So it's a proving grounds, right? I don't think anybody's too fussed really about the final placement on the tables, but there are going to be some revenge rivalries this weekend that are going to be settled. So who are your eyes on? Is this the time to put the first victory on the table when it comes to the double map? Are we looking to give Aquila a bit of their own medicine from the LCQ? What's the feel?
Yeah, Decoy, I'll let you start this one.
Okay, well, I mean, every time we go out there to play, we want to win, right?
For sure,
Like
for sure.
that's a given, right? I'm going to be really honest, and this is no disrespect to AQ because they're going to be a very hard match, right? I'm more worried about our second round if we beat AQ because
Ooh.
we have either I think it's Invictus and Panderica. No, it's Invictus and Vanguard at the top, I believe, and they will be our second round. Okay, so I am. Don't get me wrong. AQ is not going to be like a walk in the park, nothing like that, right? Like it will be a very hard fought game, or like I hope to have a very hard fought game with them. But if we do make it past AQ, then we have the wall ahead of
Yeah,
us.
it doesn't get any easier.
So
Always a mountain to climb, I think you would say. Always a mountain
yeah,
to climb.
We really
exactly.
wanted to play our Div 2 team in the upcoming bracket just for funsies because we thought it would be fun. But in order to do that, we gotta climb some mountains. So
Is it Div 2 on the horizon for the barbecue block? Is that what you reckon it is? Because that's another thing to talk about, all right? So you guys don't play for the Div 2 team, but we obviously immerse ourselves in how they interact with the brand as a whole, and we're trying to help them develop where we can when the time's not being taken on Div 1 stuff. Uh, they've got a match coming up this weekend against the Vanguard Academy as well. Is this a match the Div 2 team can look towards putting under their belt as well? Is this something that, going into this weekend, they should be confident about, and that their brick wall is then the next match after that? Because personally, the Vanguard Academy team put up a good showing in the first week, just as our Div 2 did. I think it's going to be a close match, but I do think our team has the taking of it. Thoughts?
yeah, I do too. I honestly I prefer to be humble in these things and give everybody the respect that they are due. Right? I think it's the right thing to do in the community, especially if we're gonna continue to grow it. But I still think it's gonna be a hard fought match. I do think the Div 2 team, just being super close to them, they have been working extremely hard. Right? We've been helping them immensely with audibles and positioning and even kit loadouts, right, to really ensure that they can operate at their best. So I do think we have a little bit of an edge there. Not saying that Vanguard hasn't done that for the Vanguard Academy, right, but it definitely goes a long way, and I think they're out to prove themselves too, just like we are. And it's going to be a great show regardless. So
Good. Looking forward to it. Any extras, Decoy? Do you think D2 got it in him? I mean, let's talk about it. We're not glazing too much, but Austin was cooking. He cast in the booth, and then he left the casting booth. You'd think maybe a little bit more tired than the players that had just started. And I mean, I wonder if maybe the method from now on is watch a good couple of hours of competitive gameplay before you play. Because what, back to back 4 pieces, 7 and 4,
Yep.
I think it was after the first 3 or 4 rounds. Really on a tear, and respectfully looking like one of the fewer members of the Div 2 squad that was awake from the beginning of the match rather than after a couple of rounds of getting into it.
No, I can agree with Austin's performance on that. Yeah, no, Austin really came out and showed out on that game against Vibe Check. Um, I I think our Div 2 will win, right? I think it'll be a close match. Um,
Okay.
Like the Vanguard's Academy's team's been putting in a lot of work, right? They do have a lot of people that are supporting them as well in the background, right? Which is good to see. I want to see that in the community, right? Like there should be more Div 2 teams. So every other team out there, start a Div 2 team.
yes,
Okay.
please.
But I would just like to say, if Bunny actually gets sleep and isn't over caffeinated, I think she'll absolutely come out and slay on that game. And I want to see that. I'm hoping she's still in the chat and she roasts me, but that's really my only thoughts on that one.
An overcaffeinated Bunny X Packer? No, never. No way, man.
Never,
Never
never,
heard of
never.
that in my life before. There's no way Bunny would ever not sleep for 37 hours and then play a competitive game of Tarkov. Psh, no.
Yeah,
It's
Yeah,
almost like she's
those
hard
days have
committed.
passed me.
Yeah, we don't have that. I'm going to say, I'm maybe uh, definitely quite comfortable to sit in the same section of the branches split over the here. I will sit on the wise bench and the older section of things, but not quite as. I'm like, I'm happy to not have the gamer reactions. I'll play with my brain all day long. I don't. I definitely can't survive the 37 hours without the sleep anymore like I used to. We do the casual 24-hour stream every now and again when we can, but I think it's when necessary now rather than when when the mood takes us spontaneously. That being said, I'm thinking about preference when it comes to the state of the game and your thoughts on that initial map that got dropped during the ACS broadcast, the teaser. Iceberg, did either of you get to see the pictures of Iceberg from that map release?
Yes.
I didn't see it.
Right, well, Mr. Decoy, would you mind talking for a moment about those map pictures whilst I go and grab an image for the folks at home to look at on screen?
Yeah.
Because it
Yeah.
looks stunning.
It does look really good. It's going to be really interesting because I mean, obviously we haven't seen everything. We've seen a bunch of stills, right? But it looks like there's going to be an outside area. It looks like there's going to be a multi-level indoor area, right? It looks like there's going to be like a second floor to outside like ability as well, right? Which is going to be huge for us because like you have like certain points of that, like maybe on Fort, right, where you have a good elevation change, and like sure you can say Bay 5 Heaven, but like overall elevation changes haven't been a big thing. It looks like a map that will cater to a lot of different people depending on like where the points are, right? And that I think is going to be the main key is like where are the points and how are you going to hold them? Because that'll dictate how the map ends up getting played, right?
And all credit and thanks to Battlestate Games, this is the Escape from Tarkov Arena X page that we're looking at now. The images given to us by the Escape from Tarkov Arena devs that, teasers, like we said, Iceberg. This is the first look that was given to people live for the ACS broadcast, by the way. If you weren't present during the tournament, then you got to hear about this later. You actually got to hear about this as the pictures were posted afterwards, but this was actually teased and spoiled mid-broadcast. So this is the lobby, which looks like a reception of some form, right? The glass tiles, the nice background, the smooth color palette is something that's cool for me. I'm quite a fan of things not being too bright and vibrant in a video game where you need to be good about reaction times and being able to decipher a player from scenery. So I like that it's got those more sort of dull but vivid tones rather than a bright neon almost-esque feel to it. In addition to that, you've got the library, which this looks stunning. Like, this is probably going to be my living area from now on. And I'm going to be honest with you, when it comes to content creation and making any cool videos or intros of Cracked Wisdom's content from now on, I think I'm going to be spending a little bit of time in custom games and here with a cameraman doing some recording, because that scene is just, that's epic for me. This is like, could you imagine that? Midnight, music, your favorite book, maybe even, I don't know, a beverage, an alcoholic beverage of choice.
Bourbon.
And then suddenly Cracked Wisdom comes out of the corner with his shotgun going, ka-chow, chow, chow, chow.
You know darn right I'm be hiding in the corner with my shotgun. For sure, for sure. Great, honestly, great images that we were given, and it kind of like, it adds a different look to what an arena map could be. This gives me holiday vibes. It gives me like, go away to a chalet in France for a week or two away with the family style vibes.
Well, I like what they did here, and this is the first time I've seen it, right? But like they tried it with Fort, where they kind of put it like in a more open area, right?
Yes.
Like I feel like, you know what I mean? Like it's not Skybridge, you're in a thing, or it's not Bay 5 where you're just surrounded by like a bunch of containers and stuff like that, right? It's just it's different, and I actually like it.
The other one that we've got to show as well is the elevation that they're offering inside of this one too, and something I'm a big fan of here. This is basic elevation, where it's between, obviously, probably points. I'm going to assume this is maybe a middle focal point of the map that maybe separates a blast gang spot from another blast gang spot. This has also been touted to be developed for Checkpoint 2, I believe it was, or Team Fight, one of the two. I can't remember off the top of my head. I'll have to go and check that in a second, actually, and find out. But it's being touted for another one of the 5v5 game modes. And this looks like a connector of some point. It's Checkpoint. There we go, confirming that one for you there. Checkpoint that it's being developed for. And that, I mean, just imagine the gameplay of teams up and down either side of that cart there. And I'm assuming from the looks of it, if we check, we zoom in a little bit, if I can do this on the browser, if it's going to let me. Nope, that's, no. Okay, we're gonna unwind. Nope, reverse. That was not it. Okay, what I was trying to point out is here, the door frame. That door on the train is open, so I'm going to assume that there is going to be a pathway down the middle of that train that's going to be a very tight corridor to fight through, which I'm excited for. And then there's also, oh my word, we really messed up the ratio on this. There we go. So it's those 4 pictures. Wait, where's my other 2 pictures gone? That's not all of it, chat. There's more. Here we go. This, another perspective of the stairs there for you. So that's the downwards view. And obviously a look on, is that the tower towards radar? Is that the hill we see off the back of Shoreline?
I don't know, possibly. It looks beautiful though. I mean, I can't wait to frag in it. So.
And then your final picture, there's the elevation we were talking about. 2 different levels.
Oh man, if you can do some crazy jumps, I'm sure the arena community is going to figure it out.
Do you reckon that there's a potential for verticality for points? Planting.
That is something that I am not sure about, right? Because, like, so if you look at this right now, and it really depends. Like we see this basement area, right?
Yes. Yeah.
On
Yeah.
this picture.
Yep.
Like, is there a top floor? Is this like almost a four levels? You know, because you have the base floor, you have that first balcony and second balcony.
You've got.
I
First,
doubt we can get to
second,
the roof.
Yep.
I doubt we can get to the roof. So, like, you know, that's 1, 2, 3, 4 levels of vert, possibly. That might be something really interesting, right? Because this is something much more like Rainbow Siege 6-esque, right? Where you suddenly have like extra verticality. You suddenly need people to roam and lurk, right? To hold like points and like to like kind of clear out and suss out where people are coming from. Audio cues become much more like needed in this case, right? Like
For
it really
sure.
depends on how many entry points there are too. But
you bring up a good point on audio cues, man. If it is multi-level and the audio gets scuffed, that's gonna be a hard map to play.
But this is something that we've got to look forward to, right? BSG at the moment, the track record of what they've been bringing out recently is getting more and more consistently better when being delivered.
Absolutely.
Yes, it comes with the issues that we expect every time Tarkov drops something. Hit reg gets weird for a little bit. We get an adjustment patch to fix it, bring it back in line again, or things are slightly overbalanced one way or the other. Something new came in and it's extremely powerful comparative to everything else that we just fixed balancing. It is very much a natural state of the game. It is something that every game goes through. How well it gets handled is down to the company, and that's that opinion is in the eye of the beholder. So I shan't try and say to anybody that their opinion is wrong or mine is right on that context. But what I will offer is that I'm excited for the verticality. And one thing that did get raised to me is that maybe those buildings, those balconies, Decoy, are not for players, but for the spectators. This is the first version of first iteration we've seen of this, so you would expect that there isn't actually any spectators in the crowd in this iteration yet. And I'm wondering if those balconies are where the spectators are going to watch from, and that we are only going to see a 1 or 2 tiered map.
that is a decent possibility. I mean, this is like something interesting. So the circling back to like, you know, vert control, right?
Yes.
The reason I am kind of skeptical of it is like obviously there's some type of basement level. That is a lot of concrete between that.
Oh yeah.
If there's a point in the basement, I don't think there's going to be any vert control unless if there's like specific points that you're going to have to suss out, right? The other thing that I'm going to be interested about is, are they going to do something R6 like where they put like vents in where you maybe can drop some util between like vert?
See that there? That question right there that you've just asked? That's exactly what I'm looking at this picture here. And I'm going to look at it in another picture as well. So I'm going to drop out these images and go back to the ones above
or
again.
make the floors bangable. Like
Exactly.
That's another key piece of this map, I think.
So notice that there's access on 2 floors in most places. Obviously the lobby does not have a second floor visibly, but you see a section for lifts or stairs at the end of the corridor. This room here has 2 accessible floors. Clearly a balconette that goes all the way around the top of the library that could fight up and down. Definitely. With the spiral staircase in the corner, accessible what looks like it. Here, notice how there's no access panels in the roof, but actually look really closely. And it's not going to let me, maybe open image in a new tab. Got it. Is this going to, can I zoom? Oh.
No, cooking.
Hold up a minute. So, That's an open room up there, yeah?
Looks
It
like
looks
it.
like it.
That's an open room on the second floor, too. That's a hole in the roof right there in that triangle.
Oh, interesting. Yeah.
Do you see? Do you see that there's no actual paneling there? So I wonder if you might be right. I wonder if all of these accessible levels actually have like gaps where there's things that can be dropped through, and I think you might be looking at it the right way, and I think that's something we need to look out for and be excited for, is that if they've added a twist to this map, it's in trapdoors. Now look at the second piece of evidence in this picture that suggests there may be more verticality downwards than what we're already looking at.
Yeah, that spiral staircase could go down too, over on the
Also,
right.
feature bottom left, Mr. Sprit.
Oh, that too. Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, I also, the first time looking at this image, missed this big staircase. That's not just a staircase. If you look at the cut of how the floor falls away from it, that's a basement staircase. That's a set of stairs that goes down into the floor rather than just out to the next room, changing gradient, right? You wouldn't expect the floor to be cut into. You would expect the stairs to go into the other room if that was the way. So I'm thinking there's a purpose behind design here. Could be wrong. It could just be steps up to a library. We don't know. But there's a lot to be talked about, and the idea of trap floors and trap doors is something that I'm gonna be honest. I like the ideas of trap floors and trap doors. I like the potential for that kind of roller grenade through the wood, or be able to shoot somebody up or down through that. And I like the idea of vertical points. Like, are they going to plant high? Are they going to plant low? Do we need to play height over bore? Do we need to be aware that we're fighting up an angle? It adds a different level of the brain work to the gameplay, and it's also going to drastically change how impactful smokes are if you throw them wrong.
Oh yeah. I mean, there's a lot. Even Dover said it in chat. With all that those metal bars, there's gonna be a lot more ricochets. Like, it's gonna happen. So
Oh, I should have put that clip in where you killed me.
that would have been
I don't know if we've got any more of the clips that you guys wanted to share, if there's anything that we've missed from the media from tonight so far. There was something I
No,
did
no,
want to
no,
share
no,
with the
no.
folks at home. There's obviously every one of these gamers that gets to join us on the podcast, folks, they take time out of their every day-to-day lives to be able to do this and to be able to play the game. It's nice to show once in a while what a little bit of these guys do in their real lives. We got to see Blake Dahlia doing a bit of music when they were on from the Vanguard podcast. A little something we can share from you now is something that Decoy gets to do in his spare time as a website that he shared with us, which is some photography, I believe, Decoy. So talk to us a bit about this.
Yeah, so I mean, I enjoy photography. I mean, I enjoy taking pictures of people too, in all honesty. But I enjoy the outdoors, and I go four wheeling in my off time as well, off roading and stuff like that. So I'm out there in nature a lot. So I I just thought maybe I can do something else on the hobby side of it. Um,
I'm not one that understands photography to that level. That I understand pictures, right? I've got to be honest with you. We're gonna have to show the chat this in a second. I can't begin to describe what it is that I see on here other than really well taken pictures. That feels so rude. Do you get where I'm coming from? But like, I can tell this is a skill. And for example,
oh,
this one was
total
one of my
skill.
favorite one. This right here. This is beautiful. This is like, just the colors, the way the picture is taken, the angle. I get it, but I don't get it. Does that make sense? Like, I'm not. It's not my passion, but it is very impressive. And you don't just take these kinds of pictures. There is a lot that goes into kind of making this happen. So yeah, one of the things that is part of a lot of what makes these pictures happen is what you've got in your hands, right? Let's take a look at that as
yeah.
well.
So this is the lens. I'll try and get it so that my camera's not blurring it out.
Yeah.
It's a 2 to 600 Sony. Uh, the only other upgrade is like starts at like $13,000. So I'm not spending that much money yet on kit. So yeah, in any case, that's just something that I enjoy. I know it's kind of blurred out, but that printer over there is where I do prints, and if you can see the blurred out EZ logo in the back, that's something that I printed just from a little bit of team pride. So
Nice, nice. I respect it. It's cool. You blend in with the crowd though. That camo you've got on the lens there. I think some of the players in game would be jealous for that kind of camo on the paint on the weapons. That looks really cool. Does that on the lens for your
the
camera?
Cryptek.
Yeah.
Oh, Oh, you mean this? You mean
Yeah,
this?
I mean that. Yes, absolutely.
Yeah. Well, so like doing outdoor photography, like obviously you're getting kind of down in the mud, right? So lenses are expensive, and you need some protection. So this is like just a neoprene covering. Helps keep the water off it,
Okay.
uh, keep it from getting scratched up and stuff like that.
Cool. Very cool. It's not every day you hear that the camera lens has a jacket. I didn't realize that we needed to protect our lenses from the weathers and the elements, but now we'd know. The more you know, the better you are at photography, it seems. But no, that's awesome. It's really cool. Funnily, that my sister takes photos. She's a photographer. She likes her photography, and it's like I say, it's not something that's ever gripped me, but there definitely is a skill to it. So yeah, very impressive. Folks, if you're a fan of the photography and you want to check out some of Decoy's work, or maybe you fancy him going and taking some pictures for you at the highest of quality, well, his link's in the chat. All right, wildlife, is it wildlife photography page? I'm reading this here. So it's a my
It's just a
portfolio page.
portfolio.
Excuse
Yeah,
me.
it's a
Yeah,
my
there we go.
portfolio page.
It,
Yeah.
it just has wildlife on the end of the tag chat. I'm getting blagged. Typical correct. Distracted by words. Yeah, check it out. Do you photographize often? Do you What's the word? Do you take pictures often? Is that
Do I take photos often? Yes. I mean, not so much lately. So like, part of the reason why I've been spending so much time on the game lately is I actually injured my back when I was working as a FedEx courier. So I've laying down in the outdoors at the moment kind of hurts. But this is just something that I enjoy, right? And it's something that like gives me something else to do while I'm out there, having a little bit of, I mean, I get a little bit fidgety if I don't have anything to do. So while I enjoy going into the outdoors and just relaxing, I do like to have something to focus on.
Let's just make sure, though, going forward from this, that Sprit never takes your tool for your hobby, and you don't take his tool for his hobby to each other's days at work, because that's going to go a whole load of wrong, by the way, okay? Sprit's going to be taking pictures of his demons, and you're going to be shooting shots that are not going to be capturing moments. That's all I'm going to say at that rate, okay? I don't think the spear is the best camera we've been looking for, so
Yeah, that'll just
amazing.
turn you into a hunter.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Well, I mean, Sprit showed his toys. I have some toys. I'm not going to show mine on camera right now, but we have our own methods. I'm more like on the AR-15 side of things. Sprit's got a little bit more play money than me, so he's got some special stuff.
It's what you get for working hard, though, right, Sprit? Your age is representative of the time you have put in. This is not just lives, years worth of a life that have been just, kind of casually passed over. The man has grafted for his dues, and that's why you sit comfortably. Any words out there of advice, Sprit, for the young spring buck trying to make it just like yourself out there? Any words of advice to the youth of this age, this day and age, to succeed and become a real champion?
Oh man. Okay. Well, first of all, Decoy, amazing photography skills. I mean, just really, really exceptional. I'm a huge fan of it, and we'll have to figure out how to do something for easy because you're just amazing at it. Yeah, going into your life, don't find a job, find a career. Is the best advice I can give you. Find something that's gonna get you up in the morning, get you excited, something you want to do. It may not always be sunshine and rainbows, but you got to do that. Otherwise, you're just working for a dollar, and it's not going to mean much, right? Invest in yourself. As cheesy as that sounds, right? Like I'm pretty much a self-made man. I spend a lot of hours, just like I do with gaming. I spend a lot of hours learning a lot of tech shit, right? Whether it was Linux, security, IT, programming, you name it. It's kind of been my entire career trying to become an expert at all of those things, which has proved me well in my life. So, and just don't give up, right? I mean, find the next best thing. So, uh, more money isn't always the answer. More money is more problems sometimes. So, just be smart about it and enjoy life. That's the
Mhm.
purpose.
Yeah, I have to apologize, chat. I'm not distracted. I am just quickly having to respond. I'm sorry, but I finally got the message back from Mr. Famous's PA. She's reached out to me, and I can't miss my gap, guys. I don't qualify for that level of fame, so she reaches out to me, and I come at the beck and call. So that 1v1 with No Technique TV will be coming in the near future. His office has reached out to me, and he's got somebody to confirm that 1v1 will be going forward for the Battle of Bald. So don't forget to check in on that one soon. Obviously, like I said, I apologise for taking my eyes away from the podcast for a moment. But like I said, we can't all be as famous as No Technique, so just have to kind of ride that one out for the time being. Apologies for the delay, but no, it's been a cracking night for the podcast. I've enjoyed having the guys from the EpicFailZ Esports squad on the podcast with me, and I think with those wise words of wisdom, I don't think you could really have said it any better myself, Sprit. Don't find a job, find a career. And it's something that we take from a mentality from the EpicFailZ bodies and the boys and the girls in the squad, and we're going to take that one on the close, which is don't play games. Enjoy the games you play. You can doom scroll if you want to waste your time. There are better ways to waste your time more efficiently. You're going to get mad at the pixels? Put the pixels down and maybe push some paper for a little bit. See how the mentality changes. Don't let the games play you. Enjoy the games you play. With that being said, that is going to be us rounding out episode 6 of the podcast. The EpicFailZ boys will be live this weekend on the Vanguard Proving Grounds tournament, showing what they have got to bring to the table from the NA scene, both the Div 1 and the Div 2 team coming to the table. As well as that, when this podcast closes out, I will be composing that video up so it's posted out on YouTube for you to watch with your friends in the future. If you wanted to share it about with somebody that's not heard of the podcast just yet, then be my guest. Be much appreciated. We're trying to get the word out there so that we can educate and entertain everybody that enjoys Escape from Tarkov Arena in the best way, and to get you guys involved with the pros and the pros scene so we can start putting two together so you understand each other and how you guys play. Not only that, but also so you can immerse yourself in what each other does. I mean, maybe you might gain some inspiration. Maybe Sprit might have just told you to quit your job but find your new favourite career, and maybe it's the best decision you'll ever make. These are the mysteries that come out of the Cracked Wisdom's Grand Library, the wonderful Welcome to Arena podcast, and the blessed minds of the pros that join us here for it. I'd like to take a moment to say thank you to Spritian and to Mr. Decoy for joining me this evening. Gents, any final words for the folks out there in the audience? Any words of wisdom to those looking to try Arena, or anything you'd like to promote from the EpicFailZ side?
I'm going to interject really quick. Can you give me a link drop access, and I'll drop everybody's socials?
I certainly can, yeah, sure.
And then Director Sprit can take the answer first.
Yeah, nothing I really want to plug. I mean, huge shout out to our amazing coach, Cracked Wisdom, who has also helped us come a long way. So I don't think we gave you a proper shout out in introduction of the team. But much love. You're a great partner to us, and I'd love to keep going down this route. Let's make Esports EpicFailZ as huge as we possibly can. I think it'll be amazing. So with that, appreciate the time today. Much love to everybody in the chat. Much love to everybody who I fight almost every night in Arena. Love you all. Let's get it.
Decoy, anything to add to the top? Cherry on the cake?
I mean, we kind of said it before, but like, it's a game. Enjoy yourself, right? If you want to compete, compete. If you want to just have fun, have fun. And kind of like at the start of all this, we said we'd have a slogan, and that's it's all in the mental.
Do you know what? It's so funny that is the rounding statement from the guys from the EpicFailZ squad, but this is so true. When we first started, 3 of us were sat in a Discord channel talking about ideas, and then the rest of the guys formed in, and we started AI generating some logo ideas, and we were like, what is it? And we were like, you remember that old school nostalgic computer game? Turn on the console, fool. EA Sports. It's in the game. And you knew you were ready to play whatever title, platform, year version of FIFA it was that you just picked up from game on your way back home from school. You were locked in, and you were ready to kick your teammates' ass, or your school home school or home classes buddy's ass, or whoever it was that had just given you some that day. And you got home, and you were playing your favorite football squad, and you just put them in the dirt. Or it was NBA, it was basketball, it was baseball, whatever the version of it was that took your fancy. It was that EA Sports. It's in the game. So we were like, EpicFailZ. It's in the mental. You keep it positive, you keep yourself on the right track. Ladies and gentlemen, it's been a pleasure. I've appreciated every single person taking the time to join us today. If you dropped a follow, any subscriptions, any bits, gifts, donos, anything else that's gone on in the meanwhile, we appreciate you tenfold, but we turned the alerts and the visual rewards off because it was very hard to hear the pros over the sounds of the support that was being given. So, from the top to bottom, extras from the stream alone and the most recent follows go out to those not inclusive and only from, but including the following: Richard Yep, Cynthia Sleepin, Elbin Chicken, Stewie DW, Bunny X Paco, Boop and Matasu coming in with the double hydrates there to make sure we're keeping us healthy during the stream. Smirk the OG with the follow. The Pepe Laugh on Tangier coming from Cul-de-sac. And Kagai and Earsum on those follows as well. Guys, thank you very much. We appreciate that support. I hope you've enjoyed episode 6 of the podcast, and we'll look forward to catching you sometime next week. Keep an eye on that YouTube channel, folks. That is Correct Wisdom, at Correct Wisdom, where the I is replaced with the number 1 on YouTube for all of the VODs, videos from the previous podcasts, and to be able to check out the new content coming to you soon. Outcasts Comms videos, EpicFailZ bloopers videos, EpicFailZ Comms videos, tournament standings, and all other content regarding our teams will be hitting that YouTube channel across the next couple of months. So if you don't want to miss it, make sure you've got yourself locked in on that YouTube. Thank you again for taking the time to join us. I've been Cracked. This has been the EpicFailZ squad. We're failing, you're winning, and we'll see you on the next one. Right, ladies and gentlemen, it looks like one of the Div 2 members from the EpicFailZ Esports squad mentioned tonight, Goth Mummies, is currently streaming. So what we're going to do is we're going to go take out that support that we've had here in the podcast tonight, and we're going to go spread some of the love. So without further ado, I'd like you all to join me in raiding out to Goth Mummies. Thank you for being here. As always, you guys have been awesome, and we're going to look forward to some more Escape from Tarkov Arena in the near future.
Can you hear them now?
Yeah.